Hello, I'm Eagle. This is Smiley's Gardens, and this is episode 377.5, The Wormhole. How you guys doing? How you doing today, Smiley? I know we just went over this, but you gotta talk about something to start with, all right?
Day was good, man. I'm gonna try to bring up chat here a second.
I'm Eagle. Smiley's Gardens.
You're doing that. That's too funny. All right, now it's my turn.
CJ Apple, first one in chat. Did you see CJ today? No, you muted.
I had to get off of mute. I was bringing up the chat. Yeah, CJ stopped by. He was heading to a campground north of there or something. So he was there for a minute, and always good to see him. And his dog Champ.
Good dude right there.
Yeah,
Definitely looking forward to the season, the event season this year. You know, first one out, I'm already amiss.
Yeah, I figured, man, he must have had. I was giving you a hard time. Then I'm like, I feel bad. I know he wants to go. It probably something, whatever, Shit happens. Shit comes up. That's the way it goes. I felt bad. I called you a dick. You read it yesterday. You're like, a dick? Like, I was like, I didn't mean it like that. Not the way you read it. Jeez. Like, it was more of a joke. Come on, man. But yeah, dude, it was a blast out there, man. Yeah, seen Canna Queen, obviously. Dr. Wiggles was there. Red Eye Rustler, Modern Genetic, Chicha B, Limited was there, and trying to think of his girl's name, Puffer Smiles, I think is the Instagram.
Leah Mass and Puffer.
Lim Mass, yeah. And then Prometheus, his wife, were there. Trying to picture it back in my head. Some of the guys I don't know their IG though. Like dang man, I can't think of the guy that won the little competitions. I didn't catch their IG names, so fortunately I can't shout them out. But they had some fucking hella nice flower there, man, for sure. Hella nice flower. It was actually cool. Like they did a little cup, just friendly thing. You know what I mean? There's like 8 people threw some flour up just for whatever. And the judges were like kind of like torn on it. All the ratings were pretty damn close, so they just rolled up joints of all of them, numbered them, brought it out, and we all smoked all the numbers. So it was kind of cool to see. I didn't. My top picks were not mine for sure. Out of smoking all of them, I smoked 2 of them that I thought were better than mine. So I mean, just being you know impartial as I can be, I guess. I was fucking pretty impressed with quite a few of them. It was fun. And I brought like almost 100 joints.
That does not surprise me. That does not surprise me.
Red Eye, or modern was fucking pie-eyed pretty good, and then I was trying to fuck with him because he lit one joint and passed it around, and then every time I'd go around, I'd light another joint. So he'd fucking get that one back, and there'd be another one. It was funny.
Good group of people to smoke with right there. So most people get their finger hash broken from trimming. Fuck you, sound roll fucking 100 joints, man. You get some finger hash broken from rolling joints like that. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, even in a roller, it's like that for sure. I don't know if it was 100. I had 7 tins. I know I had over 70 because there was over 10 in each one. So I got quite a few of them. So
That's a lot of roll. And see, that's what I know. It scoffed when I mentioned the fact that like electric cannabis roller, or even using like the cigarette roller. You know what I mean? The fucking show, pump out some joints like that. It'd be nice if they didn't have such a thick paper for them things, because I would fucking probably pack off a few joints like that, just cut off the filter. I don't think that can filter has a use in cannabis. What's your thoughts on
The filter? I
that?
was
Yeah, yeah.
these
Say if
things.
you were to use a tube. No, 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 no. Like if you were gonna use like a tube, like a to roll your own style tubes.
Oh yeah,
Use the machine, just stuffed it fucking full of weed, shrink, make fucking not hemp cigarettes, but fucking straight up like fucking
I
joint
know what you're talking
cigarettes.
about. Yeah, a little different roller. Those are
Yeah.
yeah, I would run into the Boom Farm scenario and like overpack the shit out of that. So then every time you try to pull it, it would rip the paper for sure.
That machine would gum up in no time, I would think, with some good cannabis. That thing would be all resined up, fucking, but hardly operational after like 20 joints, I would think.
I would imagine, yeah. They got those like cone packer things where you can do like a dozen cones. It's kind of like a box, you know what I mean? And then you got to drop all the cones. It's got holes, and then you just fucking fill the top tray and like spread it around, tap it a few times to kind of pack it down, and then spread it around again, and fucking chunk, you got all your cones filled or whatever. It's kind of a cool deal.
Doesn't it just like bounce them around and it kind of packs them as it goes along? That's
Yeah,
something
you
wrong
just kind
with
of
that.
tap the box a few times to get it to work down in there and shit. Yeah. And then twist all the ends when you're done, and you got 24 of them. Rocking and roll. What's up, Red Pill?
Cheers, Red Pill.
Hey, what's up?
Sam.
How's it going? Samsung. I was gonna get comfortable and take a dab. I'll try and fix it after that.
The rocker box.
I got
So yeah, something like that. Those are the
So
serious
did you guys
pre
see
rollers.
the fucking pictures of Indra?
No.
I initially thought he got jumped, but the story I got from TC today said it that it sounded like they just like were skateboarding and like kind of like knocked him into like a fire hydrant in his head, and kind of high on the fire hydrant, and maybe from a couple of fingers. I mean,
Indra was
that shit fucked it. No, he was walking down the street and some
Oh, some kids
skateboarders
following him.
come up and hit him, knocked him into a fire hydrant, and fucked him up like that, man, he's got some, yeah, he's beat up pretty good from that shit. Hearts and prayers out to Intro, man. That sucks.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. You hit your head on a fire hydrant. That fucking hurt like hell.
Oh man,
Yeah,
he had a knot. Both eyes were black in the one picture he posted.
Huh.
There's not like one good place on a fire hydrant to hit yourself on. Every fucking corner of it.
Yeah. It's fucking solid ass metal, iron or whatever. But I'm still smoking. Eagle, you're all blurry and it's fucking with my eyes. You're gonna give me a headache.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know either.
Wow, that is weird.
I feel like I'm looking
change
without
nothing.
my contacts in or something.
I didn't even touch the
I'm gonna
camera.
watch this. I'm gonna watch the screen. That's funny shit.
Oh, too clean, too clean.
There you go. Now we
So
see
fresh
it.
and so clean, clean.
Yeah. So we want to talk something smart. Let's talk something smart or current events. UFOs, government released. They saw UFOs.
Still haven't seen that video. Still haven't seen it.
It's CGI. Don't even bother, Eagle. They're just fucking with us.
Yeah. I'd still like to see the video. Make up my own mind, though, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a night vision video. The one I saw, it was like some dude looking through night vision, and he like zooms in on these things moving around in the sky. They look like pyramids. Of course, it looks like a pyramid. Just saying. Of course, it does. That only makes sense.
Got the all-seeing eye on it. Shit, it's all winking. Oh, racing Blakey.
What? I think they were too. They're just like, fuck, man, all these guys are primed for it. Let's just release some footage of it and tell them it's real and watch them fucking go nuts over this shit. I don't believe a fucking thing they tell us, man. I don't know. People believe certain things but not other things. It's like, no, I don't believe a fucking thing they tell us. Why would they tell us now about aliens? You know what I'm saying? Why would they tell us now and not before? Like, that's what I think is bullshit. They tell us now because it's part of their fucking plan. That's why they're telling us.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's the only conspiracy where everything is like something that leads you to not trust the government, but somehow in the UFO conspiracy world, all their sources for all this information comes from the government. It's always like the military or some high up ranking official.
I can tell you, in my opinion, right now, especially the way that I've heard, I even heard it on the rock station on the way to fucking around the lake yesterday. They were all like, "Oh, by the way, the Pentagon's released it. They're here, and let's hope they're fucking
Exactly,
friendly."
the Pentagon.
It's the same reason they fucking release anything else like that. You know what I mean?
When should you trust?
We should be looking over our shoulder to see what they're not talking about, because it's like the look over here while we do something dirty to you. Usually,
you just said exactly what I mean. Like it's always like a Pentagon source. Like every other conspiracy would tell you that you don't trust a Pentagon source or the person that comes out with the propaganda. You know, but in the UFO realm, no, that's where all their information is sourced from. The people that supposedly put out propaganda for every other conspiracy.
I think it's the next big fear driving thing, Eagle, because if you look at it, the government drive what we spend money on, and what we spend money on is usually with their buddies, and their buddies all make money along with them, and that's what the government spent money on, this big conspiracy fear thing, just like with this, you know, the current scamdemic. I'll call it what I think it is, you know, like the current thing. Who's fucking making money hand over fist? You know what I'm saying? Like Big Pharma is. And why? Because we're all afraid. Why are we all afraid? Because they fucking told us to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no different. And I think they're just, they're going to use this for the next thing. Well, we got these aliens out there that we got to sign another $20 trillion fucking spending bill to make sure we got enough funding in all our buddies' pockets, you know what I'm saying? So they can make bigger guns for us, because that's going to protect us. Like, you know, some of that shit it's a repetitive fucking cycle is where it comes in. It's a repetitive fucking cycle. And they've been doing it for decades. It's fucking, I don't know. It's irritating.
One thing gets old, and then
I think they're gonna try to push a vaccine from the alien anal probes that they're gonna fucking
the alien AIDS.
I've never understood why aliens were so infatuated with our assholes either. You think, you know, if we went to another planet and discovered an animal, like another creature, you think are like what, probing their assholes, the fucking thing we want to do all day? What this
I
guy?
don't
What did he have to eat? Let's check that shit out.
I don't want to get super in detail, but I think that's for a lot of people, that's a defense mechanism. Their brain makes up that story to cover up a sexual whatever.
Well, we
Yeah.
got welcome, Bingus. You jumped right in the middle, right in the middle.
Welcome, my fellow
Cheers,
Wormholios.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Good to see you, Bingus. Speaking of aliens and all that, hey, I watched the last video you put up, and it closes out with the David Icke thing. You always close with that, or is that a?
No, it's just I'm trying to make people wake up to open their minds to the fact that it's all bullshit.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the bottom line. I try to do my part in a very undercurrent type of way without having too many rocks thrown from the indoctrinated. You see what I mean? I can go on for hours about this subject, so don't get me started, please.
I would call that the blue pill, folks out there.
Well, dude, yeah, I guess, whatever. I don't want to get to what's going on right now. I've never seen so much fakery in my life. And I've been here a few years, and the mass hypnosis is every day I get in my car to go somewhere. Every minute I'm being hammered with something about how they want to control me with a mask, with a vaccine, with whatever. So it just kind of, I turn off my radio. I try to put CD or discs in, but then I forget them, right? So I'm driving, and every minute I turn off the radio because it starts to try to hypnotize me, and I'm like, fuck you. That's exactly what I say. I go, fuck you, and I click the thing. And I do it all the time. Or like when I'm watching a YouTube video and some stupid fucking ad comes up and tries to convince me to do something, I go, fuck you. And but that's just me, It's just my way of saying, fuck you. I'm not going to be controlled, even though, fuck, there's no escape.
It's not just you, though.
Web.
I do the same thing. Fuck you.
Yeah. I've been drugged through the system. It's almost like you have to have that happen before you realize, wait a minute, something's not right here, And then if you go down that wormhole, it's a long drop. It really is. And how far you want to go is how much energy you want to spend, because it's endless.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Mind meld.
A lot of people, once you're down there, it's a good thing. At least you went down there to check things out. But like I said, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper the further you go.
You can lose your mind. Most human
Some people, yeah, they do lose their mind doing it.
Well, most human beings do not want to admit that they've spent their whole life being indoctrinated with lies.
Through their television programming. No programming for no fucking reason. Programming.
Vision.
That's their plan.
And if you want to be empathetic and imagine what it must be like to try to enslave and control the human genome of 8 billion people, you can see, like, okay, I can understand, you guys are a little afraid because you're a bunch of evil, lying motherfuckers. All right. And if we ever wake up, guess what? You're fucking dead. So, yeah, they're driven by fear of us. They don't like us for some strange reason. Maybe they are aliens. I don't know. You know?
Well, I always like people that compared it to that because it might as well be. Like to snap people into it, you have to explain it to them like that because somehow in the last, there's layers to indoctrination, but somehow in the last like 30 plus years, people became more comfortable. Maybe it was through media indoctrination that there's otherworldly things and they got crafts and they come here and that's their intentions, right? Is to take over the planet through covert means, right? So to explain it to people, even if it's not that, but an analogy to it, you're able to explain it that way because people get it. And it's close enough. It might as well be that. And there, you can put multi-layers of it to see if wise people had an idea of things to come, or if things were so much the same years and years and years ago, smart people could figure it out. And, they're talking about things that we can relate to even back then. Right. That's what I think it comes down to. And there's people that figured out a lot of this shit a long time ago. Right. So
I don't know. I don't want to go too deep. It definitely offends people. They don't like to be shaken out of their slumber. They just don't. And I understand. That's fine. Dude, you don't think I was the same fucking way? Do you think what was I? Was 50 when I finally said, hey, I need to educate myself. Dude,
Do what
first
you're
couple of
told.
years, I lost it. I really did go a little bit loony.
You're not supposed to think for yourself. You're supposed to think what they tell you to think. So it's easier that way. Why would you want to think for yourself? That's hard work. What are you talking about? They can just tell you the answers. And you can believe what they tell you.
The justice system, the just us, for them, not us, really is what made me look. I'm 50. I don't want to fucking change anything. Are you kidding me? You know? And I'm still learning, But I actually paid people to teach me because that's how serious I mean, it got for me. I mean, I got a guy to explain me the Admiralty law system, cost me a couple grand, but it took 3 months to get it through my indoctrinated mindset because I kept putting the brakes on. Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
I've mentioned that a little bit before. I haven't gone into that end of it, but the English language is a very weird one because it's almost, I don't get a hold of what magic really is and how real that whole thing is. But English language is almost a trap to where the words you use for things have so much meaning in you. When you say them, it invokes them and makes them, something that's tangible in reality, right? So like with admiralty things, like the reason why things are called a canal and why things are called a bank.
Birthing.
Yeah.
You birth at the dock door.
Yeah. It's all English language though. And you think that it's kind of like what I think of is, this will get more, the people that have ever seen the Pink Floyd thing where they match it up with the Wizard of Oz.
That's cool.
And supposedly that's supposed to be a complete accident. The fact that Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon matches up exactly like beat for beat with the movie Wizard of Oz is supposed to be an accident. So I don't believe that. In the same way, I don't believe that the English language was supposed to mean those words. The meaning of these words that we use is the phonetics or way it's supposed to be spoken into existence, because that's what, puts that whole magical meaning behind it. And how how legalese is used in court and that kind of stuff. That's all admiralty maritime law.
Huh.
That's why we don't live by the Constitution. And that's why you're guilty and you have to prove that you're innocent. It's not the other way around. you go through the justice system, you'll figure that out real fast. You know, it's it's not as it appears. Actually, it's pretty much opposite of everything they tell you. And that's, think about that. Fuck, I might as well walk backwards. You know what I mean? It's like, what kind of world is this? You know, so what's beautiful for me, I can only speak for myself, I know I'm in the right company, is I can grow weed legally. Thank God. Because it gives me that place to escape where I am fucking free. I am free there with my plants. And it's a state of mind. All right. And you talk about words, and it's about, Tesla said it's always about frequency and vibration. You see? And that's why I don't like texting. It's a two-dimensional communication. And emojis don't really fucking do it for me. I'm sorry. You know, I want to hear the vibration. I got in a big argument over that subject and kind of no longer have a friend because of it. I don't look at, call me old school. You got your phone in your hand, dial it. Get the other person to pick up and talk to you. Fuck. It's just this texting shit. I'm sure I blocked several friends just because I didn't know who they were when they called, because I don't want to hear the, about my car insurance or my fucking latest scam with the Social Security or what, it's just a joke. But my friends, I do have them plugged in, and they can call me anytime. And I will drop everything I'm fucking doing, and I will answer, and I will actually talk to you. Believe it or not.
Wait, like on the phone, you'll actually talk into it?
Oh, shit.
Wow. And people talk back to you? People actually talk back to you?
Well, it takes them a minute, but yeah.
That works? Wow. Wow. These things, man, I don't know. I don't know where the world's going.
Oh, man, I'm having a good time. That's all.
It is a kind of a trip though, Bingus. Like thinking back on it, like I don't know, my grandpa, per se, right? My grandpa witnessed what? Television, fucking radio, right? Like radio is coming into, all these things, and now it's like, if I look back, I was born in the 70s, right? Late 70s, so all the shit that came about when I was around. I mean, I remember the rotary phones. So I remember when the digital kind of came out. I remember having the cord on the fucking wall when you had to call people and shit. I was the remote for the TV. You know what I'm saying? I was the youngest kid. So get up there and change that channel, boy. You know what I mean? It was just, I remember all that shit. But yeah, like now, yeah, my grandson, like, holy fuck, dude. You know what I mean? He comes into the world with smartphones, touch screens, all this shit. Like
VR headset.
Yeah. He's not going to have a clue. You know what I'm saying? By the time he's 20, he's going to be looking at me like, that old man don't know shit. You know what I mean? And it's been that way every generation, right? Like I looked at my grandpa like, holy shit, that old man don't know nothing, Like, I don't know. It's just kind of funny how that's a repetitive part of it,
How much further does this rabbit hole have to go?
Mm-hmm.
Like this real world rabbit hole.
I don't know, man. I think they're fucking close to the end of it when they're trying to upload consciousness and shit like that, where they want to put us on a mainframe and the fucking make us live forever, right? I think that's insanity, is that we think we can somehow get around that.
Terrence McKenna came up with the idea of describing novelty as, you ever seen those machines where it's like a gumball machine, you put the quarter in, it spins down that funnel.
Yeah.
The closer down to that funnel it drops in is the shorter and shorter amount of time we get to what he called the ultimate singularity of what he called the biggest moment of novelty. And my idea, what that would be, is when you can make life obsolete in the form as you cure mortality, right? I don't want to say it's possible. I don't want to say that there's going to be some argued definition of what we call consciousness. Who cares if it's just a programmed reality in a computer? It's not really you. You know, I don't care if that gets argued in the future. But my idea is what the singularity is, the highest point of novelty is when that happens, is when life can be replicated in a digital realm. And it's a full, here I go in a red pill mode, but full blown matrix to where you're in a reality that's so indistinguishable from original reality that you can't even tell or question the difference. And it makes you question if we're already in one right now. The matrix.
Now, dude, you just hit a nail hard that is vibrating. So let's back up just a minute. Okay. First off, we're on a planet on the outskirts of the Milky Way galaxy. All right. The planet is vibrating and moving towards a black hole. Okay. Towards a black hole. All right. Every 40,000 years, we pass the meridian of the Milky Way and the energy changes. Okay. So we are now on the upside, the positive side of energy.
The age of Aquarius.
Yeah, right. And as we're moving further in, right, what happens when you change energy? Generally, when you go up, you're raising the vibration. All right.
Changes state of matter.
Exactly. See?
Mm-hmm.
So it's happening. It's just not happening on the indoctrinated mindsets that we have all carry around in these meat suits, right? But even these meat suits are nothing but particles vibrating at different frequencies. And if the frequencies are changing, can your mind keep up? Can you keep up with the higher frequency? Can you reach for your highest good? I believe that what's going to happen is the third dimension is going to melt away. And we're going to rise to a fourth, fifth dimensionality just to match the vibration that we're traveling towards or in. So then what happens? You know?
Well, I was only there for a short time, and it seemed like whatever entities were there wasn't happy that I got there. So
I'm sure it's crowded. Dude, aliens? Fuck, of course. Come on, there's so many other.
Because I've heard repeated things. Like I heard of, and you can look it up, and it's like something that multiple people experienced. But a lot of the first encounters of, let's just call it the fourth dimension, is encounters beings encountering you, not welcoming you, and firing a arrow at you. You know, bow and arrow.
They just like anytime you enter something, there's the resistance, all right, of entering. All right. Now that takes on a variety of forms depending on who you are, where you are, you know, in your development, primarily as an immortal spiritual being, in my opinion. But it's just the fact that you recognize, all right, that's where you're headed. It parts a lot. It allows things to fall away. I mean, a lot of things that people are saying, well, things are going on biblically. Well, there's a lot of correlations that you could put together, right, with what's happening, you know. But again, I think Tesla, to me, it was one of the greatest studies I ever did. It's because that guy could pierce the veil.
So that's what I mean with that veil. And what I mean by that is I think right now there's people that get to go there, and they're there because either they're meant to be, or they got lucky and they random lottery of doing certain psychedelics or rituals or sleep paralysis or lucid dreaming or
There, right there. Okay.
shamanistic.
Dude, we're there every night. It's, do we know how to be there, how to interact, how to,
Well,
because they've shut off our pineal gland, which, unless like you're saying, if you have DMT experiences, if you or a near-death experience like I had.
Yeah, a near-death experience, out-of-body experience. But
test pineal gland. Right.
So what
go ahead.
I literally think Tesla was like a good person, right?
Yeah.
But I also believe that not good people have figured out that this is possible. And I think that certain aspects of at least the psychedelic world, and for sure going back to like the 19th century when they're doing like seances and tarot card readings and that kind of stuff, they abused it to the point to where it's like weaponized now. And people have figured out that you can basically just like hospitalize and purify free-base DMT and inject it, intravenously, and get direct access by whatever beings are in that realm that you go to.
That's fucking
right.
dangerous.
And there's people like, where a lot of who progressed a lot of what we're at now. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan and Nikola Tesla, they're probably good people, but there's probably not good people that are doing the same exact thing. And, they're trying to like outcompete. They're trying to be like a Bond villain, like Elon Musk. I'm not trying to say like him in particular, but they want to be someone like him and have hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars and be someone that can run some off-planet, dystopia the way they want to,
All I want to get at is we're in this human instrument, I call it. All right. And we don't know how to work it, period. All right. And they're keeping us stupid so that we do not know how to work this multi-dimensional instrument that our soul is in to experience, right? To bring light to the lowest world, all right? And once that light shines bright enough in kind of the esoteric sense, the third dimension rises up and we expand and it creates another dimension higher up. It just, so, there's no escaping, really. So, it's best to try to understand how the human instrument works.
If you do the research, it's kind of crazy, but up until like the 1950s, all this stuff that we're talking about was really only known with indigenous people that were still carrying on their ancestors' traditions. And it wasn't until the 1950s where the CIA went down to Mexico and figured out what peyote, salvia, psilocybin, and all that shit was. So that's,
I'm sorry, guys. I get kind of,
I'm fine. Yeah. There's books written, there's many wormholes. There's more than 5 hours of a wormhole that needs to be
books like Rudolf Steiner. Rudolf Steiner's a good study. Nikola Tesla. Shit. I'd have to go look at my library, but reading is another thing that's kind of lost with people. They don't want to read,
Well, to have that's a bucket list thing. Might sound weird because it's like, shouldn't bucket list things be flying around the world in a hot air, that kind of shit. But no, I want to have the library of my dreams. It's a bucket list.
I'd like to go in the basement of the Vatican and see what's down there. What's up, Boom?
I'm going to use the bathroom and I'm going to come back and take a bath.
Marcel, Smiley, Eagle. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good to see you, Boom.
Good to see you too.
Very good to see you.
Fuck yeah, man. Saturday
Oh,
night.
fucking red pill left when I did that shit.
Oh, yeah, no shit.
Bummer. I'll have to watch the replay.
Take one like that every morning. It's high CBD. I specifically buy the red capsules. Just
Like it.
Yeah, that was gifted to me by Canadian J. We'll find out how many milligrams are in there by how quick I go to bed, I guess.
Boom tested, right?
Yeah, we'll figure this out. Feels like a 60.
It might have been a 70. Who knows?
Well, I mean, 10 milligrams. We're adults here. It's not for children.
It's within the tolerable range, you know?
Yeah. As long as it's not a 300 or something, I'll be good.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I'd just like to say that a lot of what you guys were saying could be applied to now times. It's not just for funsies and conversation's sake that a lot of it does apply. I would say that the conditioning and the blurring there from reality into the digital realm is kind of being pushed now. Well, people are already into their phones more than reality on a daily basis. We find that sitting next to one another in a conversation, hardly anybody looks up. Everybody's got that phone. They're too busy about this reality. Oh, the camera's over here. This reality versus this reality. And now with this pandemic and bullshit, they're actually being pushed home, and it's getting worse. This right here, I hate to say it, but this Zoom communication, from the kids with school, courts, all this virtual interaction is blurring that reality all the more daily, to be honest with you. And it may be pushed into that fourth dimension where we do lose the physical state altogether and become a whole another matter. What that may be, what physical state that may be, who knows? But I think it's kind of coincidental that you guys bring that up, that we're at this precipice of time too, especially now where people are being pushed or guided to stay home more and more. It honestly blows my mind. Lately, the more and more I've been out of the house, doing some work, the places I go that I hear, man, there's brand new stores opened up around here, but we can't find nobody to fucking work in them. I went to my local grocery store today. That cat, man, he is. When I moved up here 5 years ago, he used to be this most soft-spoken cat I've ever met. Still, my age, still living with his mother, grandmother, very respectful. These days, like today, man, I talked to that same gentleman. He's like, man, I about had it with this fucking place. Man, we're working here 6 days a week. We can't get nobody to work. We called 25 people. Every one of them said they make more money, making more money at home, unemployment. Why in the fuck do they want to come in here and deal with this bullshit? So with that, that being said, what comes next after you? What comes next after a workforce goes, hell, we can't find nobody to work. We can't find nobody to work. We're coming right on that other precipice where a nice slot fills in. Nobody wants to work but AI, huh? We program this shit to do anything. All y'all motherfuckers can stay home. Slide right into virtual reality if you want. Be those human batteries they talked about in the fucking, in what was that movie? Oh, damn,
Matrix.
I'm forgetting it. Yeah, the Matrix right there. Who's to say that we won't become just human batteries? Just
That's what I
as
mean. Like,
described in it.
are we just being not irrational, but but is this something that like we're across many age ranges right now, but is this someone that old people are like, no, we had it much worse, we thought the end of the world was way closer, and you guys are lucky now, that whole thing? Or are we that kind of close to where it's going to be that way before we know it?
It's gonna come too fast.
we're close.
Yeah.
We're close.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So many people are ready to give up their rights and just fucking throw their hands up and be like, "Fuck yeah, plug me in, man. Plug me in the mainframe." Let's do
Well,
this.
I think it's
Yeah,
already
now
there with
you
the Neuralink, even though if it's not ready and it's only tested on monkeys, like we're talking about with like being close enough to see. I want to even use the phrase light at the end of the tunnel because that's not what I would call it at all. But that's singularity. You know, the singularity's almost there. That little coin going down the funnel. Each time it gets closer to dropping down, the circle that it's going around is shorter and shorter. So that quarter is making it around and around faster and faster. To where at one point it's just a straight drop down. It's no longer a circle. Reach a singularity.
Great drop.
Mm-hmm. The moment of the moment of extreme or infinity novelty, the most novel moment of human history
where the
in Terence McKenna's
connection
explanation.
melts away and we rise. Hopefully,
who's to say that the original subject that we started off with, the alien thing, isn't necessarily the whole scared for to trick everybody? Like I said, wait, what is this all about? The whole look over here so they can slide something else. Next thing you know, they're gonna be like, the only way you can fucking deal with the aliens is through the Neuralink. You gotta fucking get the chip. Jump in the Matrix.
So, but
Jump
do
in
we,
the
if that's the
Matrix.
case,
Hide from the aliens.
do we do we believe the aliens are coming here for another planet, or do we think they're interdimensional entities that we need some type of, like I said, we can't just walk around with the IV. Some of us could. I'm sure you can walk around with the IV of DMT if you're balling like that 24/7. But to gain access to that realm, the Neuralink can just easily do that, right? So is that the thing? If people want to call it, they're like this, the guy in the sky with the beard. People want
that's
to call it people from stars, or they want to call it the Anunnaki. Is that what it is?
their their link. Their what they're doing is not going to link us to
Oh,
anything
of course. That's
but death. I mean, I read an article today, and it just blew my mind. A doctor that quit Pfizer's basically said that do not let anybody jab you with anything because it's genocide. And that was his exact words. And I just went, fuck. All right. And then Eagle's saying, well, nobody wants to go to work. Well, okay, stay home and take your jabs, and you can go on to the afterlife before us. I mean, dude, again, I'm not saying it's true, but this was a doctor that used to work for Pfizer and quit because he looked into what's in the ingredients. And it's not just him, there's nurses, there's plenty of people. If you look past the mainstream bullshit, all right, that will tell you that it's genocide. And again, if there's a few of them and billions of us, they're working on a fear mechanism to control us and to more than likely diminish us to a more controllable rate. I don't know. Just saying. It's scary. It's a little scary. Needless to say, I'm not taking no jab.
Well, let's just say I'd rather have it be the Neuralink. Like if there's two different, if we get to choose one way or that way, I'd rather have us, you can plug me in the Matrix and put me in paradise. You know what I mean? I don't want to be an actual, physical slave or be genocided or die because the Illuminati are a whole bunch of atheists and they think that Gaia is more important than humans. The humans are a virus. We're going to
What's
kill all
that scene in
humans.
the Matrix, Red, where he's sitting there? I know this isn't a steak. I know
Yeah,
it's that.
yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's a better outcome than just dying altogether. or not having a choice to live or die.
Dying from what? I mean, dude, I don't particularly think that we die.
I mean, being murdered, genocide, like you said.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm with
Do
clarify.
you want to lose or do you want to win? You know, I mean, there's one way. That's the two ways of looking at it. You know,
They're not.
the show Black Mirror was mentioned or brought up. And like I said, I like talking about it, and I love the show so much. I don't want to give too many details, but they have an episode based on that, where it's a conflict of, you don't really figure it out, but people are in a virtual reality, and the people there are arguing, and it's a person that's already dead versus a person that's already living, and they're like, I'm only here because, you know, I chose this virtual reality. My husband isn't here because he wanted to die and see what it was actually, you know, where the afterlife really takes you. And then it's like a thing is like, who's selfish? Is he selfish for deciding that and not coming here to the virtual paradise? Or am I selfish for not going with him to the real afterlife? You know, that kind of thing. That's how far in detail that show takes things. But
There's more to it than meets the eye, for sure. I didn't mean to go down. I'm not trying to offend anybody that's into everything. I'm just saying, it scared the shit out of me when I read that article. Oh, yeah.
Deep subject, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So going down the rabbit hole isn't, or the wormhole is not very comfortable at times. And you have to use a lot of discernment and a lot of verification and a lot of, I mean, here's the thing, if I start hearing the same thing over and over, that goes against what the hallucination or programming is, I start to realize, okay, this guy's a doctor and he's saying that. This person's got credibility, they're saying that, you know. And then I turn on mainstream media and I go, you're a clown. There's another clown. All right. I mean, there's no credibility for me anyway. I don't know. Do you think that the mainstream media is something we should all adhere to, their narratives?
I hear it on the
mainstream,
5
in
o'clock
my
news.
opinion,
I
is zero
100%
credibility.
know that's not the official story. The official story, but that's not the official truth. It might be 80% of the truth, but if they're talking about it on the 5 o'clock news, they're steering.
I think a lot of times, most of the time, it's hit the mainstream news. It's beyond our control. You know what I mean? It's already set into place, into motion. They're kind of, you know, doing the soft exposure to see how we feel about it at that point. See what the resistance is going to really be to it. But credibility, zero. Damn, I don't even watch it anymore.
I don't either. I mean, I turned on the local news just the other day because I was wondering, I wonder what's going on, right? Shit, we got riots in Portland and shit. I didn't even know about it. I'm like, fuck, really? You know, Black Lives Matters down
I
there.
think they're Ground Central for that.
I live, an hour away, so I'm not real concerned. It's the only. But I go to the mainstream media and man, everything's just trashed to hell in downtown Portland, which used to be a beautiful place. Not anymore. So
we're actually in the same boat for that because I'm not far from Kenosha. So,
and it's just like another world. Unless you are listening to the propaganda, it's just another day. They tried to come out here in Hillsborough once and try some shit, and fuck, that didn't last more than an hour, and they were let out of town at gunpoint, basically. I mean, there's a bunch of farmers where I live. We don't fuck around. You know, everybody's got a rifle. I mean, it's like, don't come and do that shit. You know, so I don't know. Downtown Portland, you can get away with it. There's nobody living there now. You're just trashing federal property and shit. But they get resistance in all the like neighborhoods, right? I mean, even though I don't know my neighbors, we will all stand together if something bad happens. I can almost guarantee it. You know, it's kind of funny how humans. Dude, if you ever watch like when I did used to watch mainstream media, like if there's a tornado or if there's a flood or something, humans just come together, right? They don't know each other, you know, all different colors, and they're all filling sandbags and they're all, you know, bailing out. You know, that's the unique aspect of humanity that I think scares the shit out of those that may want to control humanity. You know, if it gets bad enough, we band together. You know what I mean? But look at it. If all of a sudden your mortality is at stake, your job means nothing. I mean, everything is. I mean, it's life or death. You'll be surprised what humans will do. I've seen some very interesting things, but whatever. I don't know, dude. I'll try to get off my soapbox here. I'm sorry, guys. More weed.
It's always a good thing. But, you know, it is a trying time. Trying times. Hopefully, we don't go down the road. That bleak path. So, Smiley, any signs of life over there with the Jags?
Yeah, they're coming up.
Wiener?
Yeah, there's 12 that I got wet. I think there's 9 of them already showing out the top already. So, how about you?
I'll go 8 out of 10 showing right now. 8 out of 10. I'm just showing them off.
Did you eat an edible there as well, Boone? Just in case the pill didn't work?
You never know. I like to be prepared.
Nice.
You missed it, red pill. He actually ate a red pill. As soon as you got up to go to the bathroom, he went to show you you were gone.
You're muted,
Oh,
buddy.
you're muted.
I guess I was still muted from the last time I torched up. I was saying I had bad timing with that. I didn't see it.
Yeah. I don't know how heavy they are, so I got to wait a minute before I take another one.
Nice.
I think you've done this before, Boone.
Oh, yeah. Try to time it so that I can't stay awake by the time it hits 4:20 in Michigan.
Got an hour.
Yes, sir. 55 more minutes.
Well, we got some nice weather up here right now. Last these 80s.
It's nice here during the day, but man, is it cold at night.
I think there's more weed being grown in Michigan than anywhere else. It's a
Wouldn't
big
surprise
state.
Oh, there's a lot of weed being grown around, man. But there is a lot in Michigan, that's for sure.
I think so.
There's a lot out in California, though, too. There's a lot out in Oklahoma going on, too. You know?
Down, if you go south down, like Washington, Oregon, down the I-5 corridor, hemp everywhere, especially Oregon, Southern Oregon, California. It's just fields and fields and fields of hemp. It's crazy. I never dreamed I would ever see something like that.
Can't be beautiful sight. To be honest with you.
Smokable hemp is going to be a big thing now. I mean, and some of the strains are beautiful. I mean, I was very impressed. Uh, I work with a guy down in what is it, Southern Oregon. Anyway, he has some very nice varieties. That's where I get my CBD oil. Very nice. Smokable hemp. And people, from what I understand, they're paid just as much for smokable hemp as. Well, weren't you? What was it? Your interview last night that I was watching.
Think, bitch.
Yeah, that was a good guy. That guy really. I enjoyed that. All your stuff's been pretty good here lately, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these guys tonight were cool too.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man, I wasn't. They were great guests, very smart, but on my end, I would put that almost right next to the one episode, the edible episode on preparedness. I'm learning slowly. I should, be a little bit more prepared in some cases. Today being one of those cases. If I would have known how knowledgeable the guests were, and it was also a multi-person, which I wasn't necessarily ready for. Usually it's the one-on-one, and when they come up in multiples like that, it's a harder angle to work because you can't work the necessarily the same the same aspect, the same angle. What was your beginning story? What was your beginning story? It's hard to, just echo it throughout. You know what I mean? So it was tougher. So that's why when the show came on, I kind of took the tack of, what they were doing in the cannabis industry instead of the angle of, how they got there. Once I opened up that can of worms and seen how, intelligent and serious they were about, regenerative practices, microbes and all that good shit, I kind of realized right quick, I was like, yeah, I should have not fucked off today. I should have listened to a little bit of something, got me a little bit, my mind, got the mind churning a little bit before the show instead of fucking kind of rolling in the way I normally do, just fucking sitting down and fire one up and just like rolling with it. Today would have been a great day to fucking kind of run through a little bit of soil biology shit, fungi, maybe listen to teaming with fungus, fungi and shit, something like that, to make for a better, more intelligent show today. But they were cool. They definitely made for a great episode. No contributing to my part though. Mine was much stuttering and damn, why can't Smiley be here? Cheers, Bad Buddy.
What's up?
What's up, Bad Bunny?
You guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Hear you now. What's going down, brother?
Shit, just woke up.
It's crack ass of the morning for you. It's an early wake up time, bro. Farming ain't easy, huh?
Nope. What's going on with everybody?
Shit, we're just talking conspiracies.
Fucking talking shit.
Yeah, just having fun. It's fun to theorize about conspiracies. Right?
It's fun to come up here and talk shit, fucking eagle.
Find it funny that that's all science has too, is theories, and everybody believes those.
Injection.
Just saying they're theories.
There's dude, like I mentioned before, if you fall off a cliff, you're going to fall to the bottom. That's real truth, right? What's real truth? I mean, you really have to sometimes dissect it. Deductive reasoning works well, especially in growing too. Like, you look at an issue and you're like, all right, You just start taking things away until you end up to what it probably
Fucking magnesium. That's what it is.
Yeah, sorry. I had that.
When I mentioned a few days ago that when I like to think about philosophy and, you know, where I find myself content, a lot of that is I'm already convinced at this point that there's people have enough intellect to figure out the truth, whether they want, regardless if they want to or not. They have the ability to. So at some point, there's people that are just what do you want to call it, sadistic, or you know, there's people that purposely want to mislead people, you know, for their own benefits. Right? Like and I don't know what the mechanism behind that is. That's more philosophy behind that. But I truly believe that there's, you know, people that have decided that they don't like the truth. So what they're gonna do is get everyone to fucking you know, argue about the truth. Right?
It's hard to disagree with people that are giving you $1,400 stimulus checks. You know what I mean? Or exorbitant unemployment checks. Or
That's a thing too, and I don't like, it's a guilty conscious thing on my end, because I think there are a lot of people that have larger priorities in mind, and you know, they put themselves into situations where they have to either provide for themselves on a, you know, mandatory basis, or they have to provide for their family on a mandatory basis, right? And that takes up either their entire ability for free thinking, or their ability for free time, as in, you know, the research that they can put into something like that.
So, Bad Bunny, how's things looking for the cup? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, the township hasn't said no. They're actually going along with things. They're actually going along with things pretty well. We just got the paperwork we need for the township. Got to fill that out, submit it. It's got to be approved still. So, I mean, we're trying. It's all we can do.
So, see how it's going. Hopefully, you can pull it off, my friend.
I mean, I don't know. We're trying. Hopefully. I mean, that's all we can do, really. And the person that we're dealing with the township, he's really cool. They basically they just want specifics. They want details. You know, how many cars are going to be able to fit there? You know, where is everything going to be located? They asked for a detailed map of, you know, where we plan to have everything at. You know, so we had sent that over, and we got the paperwork, and we got to come up with you know, some detailed plans. You know, basically a medical plan, you know, fire and police plan, food and water. I guess, you know, like porta potties. Where are those going to be at? Like I said, how many cars? You know, how are we going to have the cars? I guess in rows, or you know, the parking plan.
I'm not going
organization.
into that shit.
It's really detailed.
It's
Too fucking quiet for 6 people to be sitting here. Come on now.
We're all stoned. We're all stoned and staring at Chad rhyming in chat.
Yeah, cowbell and cowmag.
Throw down a beat, Eagle. We got Chad coming in to bust a rhyme.
I was hoping Bad Bunny was going to keep going with his details.
I was self-conscious for talking too much.
I get on a soapbox too much myself.
All them details are a pain in the ass, though, Chris. That sucks. Doing all the homework on it.
There's a lot of bullshit involved, for real. It's crazy how much details they want, and I can't believe it. Just to have an event.
Mostly safety and just municipality concerns, you know what I mean? Like, let's not ruffle, certain feathers within the community. And where's where are you going to take a shit at? And, is it a legal outhouse? And where are you getting them at? And yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we're gonna bring a backhoe in and dig, 6 foot down for every outhouse.
Tell them they can fill it for you when it's over.
Right.
Well, it's just a learning experience there, Bad Bunny. It sucks this round, but at least next time around, next year, you'll know what they want. You'll be ahead of the game. This year, it's just it's a learning curve. That's all. That's the way I see it.
And the thing is, Eagle, if we can do this, you're right, because next year we'd love to do it again. Maybe it'll be an annual event every single year. That would be awesome.
It'll get easier every year too. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And it's something that Michigan's never had. I mean, yeah, it's had high times, their cannabis cup or whatever, but it was never geared towards the home grower, the caregivers. It was always big money and the big guy and and I personally we don't like that.
Did anybody do what? There was supposed to be a High Times event here 420 or this weekend. Did it even happen? I don't even know, to be honest with you. I think if it did, it came and went that quick because I know Midnight's Roots said he entered it or had entries, but I haven't heard or seen any advertisements for it, around town or nothing like that. It's kind of odd. I'm surprised.
There was an event yesterday. What was it? I forget what it was called. Damn it. I forget everything about it, but I know there was an event yesterday.
I'm going to go to bed, guys.
What are you smoking on over there, Boom Farms? Going to bed, Bingus?
I am, guys. Thank you.
Thank
for
you,
letting me come
Bingus.
up.
All right, Bingus.
Always
Guys,
good to see you, brother.
You keep it very interesting, all you guys. Nice to meet you, Bad Bunny.
You too, Bingus.
All right, guys.
Cheers,
Bingus.
That was a blueberry joint. I got a whole monocrop of blueberry going now in the room.
So I seen you yesterday in chat yesterday saying it was the Raspberry Smash times Galactic Jack on the Jazz there. I think there might have been a little switch there, to be honest with you. because I wouldn't be so set. I wouldn't be so set in that if I wouldn't have, wrote it down like that. Because I even started looking through my packs. When I get the test packs, and already I always got them, they always said the name and the genetics underneath them. Now I had the original Jazz that was the tester, and it said Raspberry Smash stands for Raspberry Smash. That's how I. So that's I
That
know
was a
that's what I wrote
raspberry
down.
jelly. There was a raspberry jelly thing that they made that was raspberry smash to raspberry smash. Was this earlier? Like what
That
year?
was that. No, that was the F2 of Jazz.
Yeah, that
Raspberry
was the
Jelly
raspberry
was
smash to the
supposed to
raspberry
be
smash.
like it.
Was the F2.
Yeah, but Jazz was Raspberry Smash. That's Raspberry Smash, but it was bred through Heroes of the Farm.
It was a
And when
hero.
they jumped ship, they pulled Jazz with it, and it was only a limited release at that point. So I think if it ever did got put back on their menu, I think maybe it would times Galactic Jack after that point. Maybe that I don't know, but I'm almost positive that that original pack that I had, because I have several packs. I have like the for sale version and the tester version. The tester or the for sale version just says Jazz on it, and one I have has both underneath it. So I can't help but wonder if
I just
something
had the
happened along the line.
website that had the listing. That's where I was buying my seeds from. So I went there and they had both them, Jazz and Jazz Queen. They
You
could
know
have
what I did find
found.
yesterday when I was rummaging through there that I thought was a bit of a treasure that you might think is a treasure too? I found a pack of Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hell yeah.
I had a bunch of
These
those
get
Dairy
moved
Queen.
up.
Is it
Tasted really,
is
really
it
good.
one of them in the old TGA, the plains and dropping seeds?
Yeah,
Wow,
yes, sir.
wow. Yeah, then that's all. Oh man, that's how the vortex seeds and the jelly bean and the deep purple seeds came when I first bought them.
Man, that is a fucking treasure right there.
Hmm. Grow those next. Put those on the top of the list.
That's kind of what I thought when I seen them. I was like, these need to get moved up.
Yeah, you can find one of those with a nice structure on it. They all really seem to smell. Everyone that I talk to about it says it smells incredible, like it's super tasty. But I find like probably 3 out of 4 guys, they just like I don't know, I can't get it to do anything. The structure's kind of weird on it, but it tastes great, right? So it's one of those ones where you're giving up some of the, you know, the bulky, nice nugs, and you're getting a lot of flavor, where you kind of like keep that up a little more. There's good ones out there, though.
I didn't get to grow it, but by its structure, it kind of looked like one of those slow vegging but no stretching plant. Is that how it is?
I never grew it. My buddy
Grail
grew
like that.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
The Holy Grail was like that for me. That fucker didn't want to do nothing. I was always hoping that when you had that flip, it should go nuts, but it'd be like,
Oh, dude, I've had that. That was the purple wreck, and I guess that came from the purple Urkel because, like I said, my purple train wreck had every undesirable trait of well, it had almost every trait. You know, it had like 99% of the train wreck, but the only trait it got from the purple Urkel was its growth structure and its veg time. Right, so it didn't stretch at all, and it veg slow as fuck. So it was a really low yielding plant, but of course, because it was so potent on the other end of the spectrum for train wreck and resin, it was really good. right? My dad was like, this reminds me of hash, you know. It's like, this tastes like the hash we used to get. Like, well, that's just because there's a lot of THC there.
Why does that seem to be true? Or just super strong strains. They either seem to be low yielding or they take fucking forever to fucking flower out. Why can't there be a nice like medium? Seeming there's not. It's
Well, my favorite are those Apollo strains, Cine 99, the Princess, the Apollo, the Vortex, all those, because those give me the best, in contrast to something like a Super Silver Haze, which is, you know, narrow leaf drug, you know, cultivar, sativa or whatever, equatorial hybrid. It makes me feel really, that's like the most extreme paranoid, you know, the least um, pleasant high feeling I've ever experienced. Where Vortex or Genius or Apollo dominant strains, it's all the good things I thought sativas were, where they're like silly and laughy and psychedelic and trippy and all that, but with no, you know, paranoia or freaked out feeling, anxiety. You know, that's what I like about those. If any weed got called psychedelic, you know, like say weed has psychedelic, you know, in contrast to something like an Afghan, which is more compared to like a narcotic, right? Or give, like people compare the stoned to high comparison. Like Afghans would make you stoned. That's couch lock, just staring at the TV type weed. Medicinal benefits would be good in cases where you need it for extreme pain or cancer remedies or something like that. And then maybe the other end of it has less of a medicinal. Maybe there are some more smaller, minute medicinal values to it, but that's more where the high comes from. You know, is like what you get from a Vortex or an Apollo, one of those type strains.
I never came across the Vortex or the Apollo, but the Vortex, they're both racier side, right? They're both.
Well, that's, I mean, it's not racy in an unpleasant way like I had with Super Silver Haze. Like Super Silver Haze makes me want to like detach myself from the world, totally anti-social, you know, uh, almost scared feeling for some reason, to where the Apollo or Vortex makes me feel literally like it's the best time ever on mushrooms. You know, like you're laughing with your friends and, you know, you forget what you're laughing about and everyone's faces are red and their eyes are squinty and you're punching each other and laughing at each other and, you know, that kind of stuff. That's what I get out of that. You know, the good, that's what I would call the good and bad effects of what are so-called sativas or narrow leaf cultivars, right? The two ways that they can make you end up feeling, kind of based upon if they're supposed to be more psychedelic, right? Because you're supposed to have like setting when it comes into that. So maybe I was just, the time I had the Super Silver Haze wasn't the time to have Super Silver Haze, and then the time I had Vortex was the perfect time to have Vortex, right?
kind of a Rocket Man strain. Rocket Man strain. Is
Well, at first, like I said, the whole thing with that was my cousin notified me that he had it. And when I picked it up, he had some, like, there was something that tipped me off that he wasn't giving me like normal bag, like here's a new flavor to try. You know, there's something extra about it to be suspicious, or, you know, notice that maybe it was better than, you know, the best batch is something that we've gotten so far. And my reaction to it was just really good. And like I said, it's, I don't want to say it's irreplaceable. Like I haven't felt like that way before, you know, since then, but it definitely had its own novelty to it, to where it probably put me to where I ended up here today based upon how good it was. So there's only two, you know, there's only two things you can take away from that. Either it was grown by someone that knew what the fuck they were doing, or it was bred by someone that knew what the fuck they were doing, or somehow it could have been both. Maybe I got some subcools bred by and grown by, you know, vortex. I doubt that's the case, but like I said, the very first purchase of seeds that I made at Vortex, they came out in those old school seed packs. So there either has to be something to, despite THC testing, weed is somehow becoming less potent today, or our tolerances are just becoming way more higher, right? Because the only way I'm going to replicate how I felt on that Vortex, which, like saying, was at the time of constantly trying new strains, I already had a high tolerance back then, and I do now. So the only way I feel like the way I felt back then is if I take 3-4 days off, either not having any THC at all, or like how I felt when I was dabbing that distillate for a couple months and then switching up to the shatter. Just that change alone was almost like smoking after a tolerance break, the way I felt. Because the distillate, like I said, void of any terpenes, it's just plain THC. It's just a very one-dimensional, monotone, boring feeling to it, having, you know, pure decarboxylated delta-9 THC. Pretty boring. It has medicinal benefits to it for like my glaucoma and whatever back pain relief and all that. So it's totally fine for medicine. Probably could have made it go longer. Wouldn't have to take so many big dabs and go through it as fast as I did if I would have ate it or ingested it or turned it into, you know, capsules or some type of edibles. It would have went further. But after that, going to the shatter, which is this, you know, medium quality, whatever terpene, whatever, however concentrated the terpenes were in it, was enough to bring on a completely different high that I haven't felt since the last time I had like live resin or something like that. You know, basically, you know, a true cannabis full spectrum high in like 2 or 3 months. So that got me fucked up the first like 2 or 3 days I was dabbing shatter after that period of dabbing the distillate. But that's how high the vortex got me. And just like one bong hit, you know, like a bong made for snaps. You pack one little bowl in there, take one hit of it, you snap it down, you take it, get real fucked up. And my friends are looking at me and then they're like, oh, I can't wait till I hit that, because if it's getting you that high, it's gonna, you know, kill me. So that was my reaction with that. But it's definitely something that's with me now. Like it's a decided thing now. If we're gonna try to replenish, if I'm gonna build a garden and try to have a mother plant of something that I'm satisfied with for as long as possible, that's definitely making the list. And like I said, there's many variants that can come in. It can be Brothers Grimm, Green Avenger. It could be Trainwreck. It could be Apollo 13. It could be Apollo 11. It could be some Cinderella 99 crosses. It could be the seeds that Bingus gave away a couple weeks ago, the Syntex, Vortex, and Cinderella 99 cross. There's a bunch of them, but that just works for me, and I'm done on my soapbox, like Benga said.
GMO wants to know, does that mean adding CO2? Oh, that's probably a check question. Ah, never mind. Thought that was direct. It's a check question. Check question. They talk about CO2. I thought they were talking about the different effects with your distillate. So I've got questions on that though. Would you eating the distillate? I mean, dabs only hang out in the system for so long. When you say space it out, I mean, would it space it out a hell of a lot longer? It seemed like if you adjusted the distillate in a capsule, man, that must, or the effect would be hours
Yeah.
longer versus the same
Mhm.
dabs.
Mhm.
So would that same slab would have been like, say, instead of a week, been like a month? Be honest with you.
I think everything together would have been the best, would have been the way to make me feel the best and the most medicated. But I think, yeah, I was probably wasting distillate by dabbing it. Or maybe in that, I'm not saying just me, but that might mean distillate is a waste to dab, right? In my mind, I like distillate because I forgot what I was listening to earlier, but people were talking about their methods of making. I think it was a Future Cannabis Project. If Chad Westport's in the chat, it was his show that he was doing on there, and everyone was talking about their method of making whatever they're turning into edibles, or their ingestibles. Either through different decarboxylation methods or the different carriers that they're doing, either coconut oil, or if they're doing butter or anything like that. I like distillate and RSO because if you have, if you're already pretty sure on what kind of cannabinoids are already present, you can pretty much do the math of how much cannabinoids are in 1 gram, or say like how many milligrams are in 1,000 milligrams of an extract. So like a distillate case, a really good distillate's like 97% or more THC. So that means it's going to be 970 milligrams of THC per gram. So doing that, using concentrates like RSO, which would just be a little bit lower, depending on how you made your RSO. If it's like black and green, it's going to be lower. But if it's still amber or gold, it's going to be higher, like the distillate is. So you can pretty much evaluate based upon how much concentrate you're adding to, either a cup or a stick, a cup of oil or a stick of butter. You can know how much milligrams is in there versus, like, say, 1 stick of butter, you can make 20 cookies out of. So you divide however many milligrams were in that stick of butter by 20, because it's your portion size. It's your amount of milligrams total divided by portion size, right? So if you have, let's say, 1,000 milligrams of THC, and it makes 20 cookies. What is that? I'm having a bad math problem. So that's 50.
Oh, that's your fault. You can't start a math problem and try to pawn it off.
50. That's 50 milligrams per cookie, right? So,
Yeah, people always ask me how many milligrams are in the edibles. I just tell them I'm not a scientist. I don't know.
well, unless that's what I mean. Unless you want to get lab testing, you're not going to know. So you have to figure it out roughly by that. So
it all starts with how potent was your weed, right? Like you might have some crazy fucking ripper hash in there, or you might have some bee trim that you're like, get rid of it, right? There's different levels.
the closer you are to the raw, or, you know, I don't want to say crude, but, you know, the raw material, the harder it is to guess. Like I said, with the distillate, it's easier to guess because the distillate, you know, is 90, if it is lab tested and you know the distillate is 99% THC, then it's just a simple math equation to tell you that it's 990 milligrams in that 1 gram of distillate. And then, like I said, if you put that 1 gram in a stick of butter in your recipe, ends up making 20 cookies, come out with the math of that being give or take 50 milligrams per cookie. Right? That's just the easy way of doing that. That answers my question. That answers your original question, Eagle.
Quiet again. I am high as fuck.
I'm on mute, answering questions in this chat, firing them away. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da. I'm on it, man. CO fucking 2, bring it. Let's bring it. Let's talk about it.
Could have been answering them questions on the air instead of crickets, man. I'm out there pissing and shit.
I'm typing a
yard.
fucking book and
Oh man,
I'm
practically pissed on my foot trying to get back to the crickets and shit. I'm like, come on, you guys.
Actually, someone brought something up different, but the CO2. Does anyone have any opinions on like a lung room in a situation where you have intake and exhaust in a place where the CO2 is being recycled? Like it's not leaving the master space that you're growing in, whether it's in a basement or in some enclosed, you know, garage or pole barn or some situation, but you built a room within that. So you're dumping CO2, but it's leaving the room and then it's going into a larger space. And the intake is bringing that air back into that grow room. Can that work, or are
I'm
you
not trying to
wasting CO2?
recycle it. I'm not trying to recycle it, nor am I trying to add it. I figured that, you know, the intake is so great, to be honest with you, that it is matching pretty much ambient what's outdoors. You know what I mean? So
So
I'm
my
happy
idea,
with, you know, I've seen what outdoors can do with ambient CO2.
Mhm.
My opinion. This is all my opinion. So if I feel that with the air exchange is frequent as it is, it's got to be very comparable. This was before I even was had a CO2 monitor in this room. That it was very comparable to the outdoors ambient CO2. So I figured I'd be all right. It seems to work. I mean, the air exchange in this room in the summertime months is like I'm sorry. I can't believe you guys can't hear the fans in the summertime. Last year, throughout the shows, I did shut them off at times, but man, you know, hell, you guys seen the heavy bag swing last
so
year in the summer months. The amount of air
my
that goes
theory
through.
is if you're in a situation where your lung room has a space above the grow room, like it's space around and above, you can evacuate heat. But if you're using CO2, the CO2 drops, the heat rises. The heat's going to leave that grow room enclosure you made, go into that larger space and stay in that upper part, you know, in the highest part of the ceiling, where the CO2 is going to recycle because it falls down and it's going to go back to the bottom of the space you're in and get sucked back in by that intake fan. That was
So
my theory about
let me ask you on that theory of CO2 being heavier like that, then if I were to go up in Colorado, do they have a lower CO2 rating than what we do here?
Unless I'm living in some twilight zone, yeah, I think so.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yes, sea level has the highest amount of CO2. You'd have more higher CO2. and let's not count polluted city, industrial areas, but yes, if we're talking about the density of CO2, then theoretically, you would have higher CO2 in the atmosphere in New Orleans than you would back in Colorado Springs, like Colorado, where I was at.
Hmm.
Colorado Springs is like, depending on where you're at, 62 to 6,600 feet elevation. And New Orleans is either sea level or negative fucking sea level. So,
Yeah, because I
So
know.
if you're using the weight of the molecule like that, could you actually use like a system to help contain it or create like
well,
a swirling effect where it stayed longer? Like
my
shot in
theory,
the
yeah,
low, shot in the intake low, and then sucked high.
my,
You know what I mean?
my,
Just
my
hot air, so it
my
had
only
time to like
workaround
gather at
that
the
would be,
bottom.
I thought, ducting, like unless we can come up with a new way of doing that without ducting it directly, I thought you have whatever, something lost to however many feet of ducting you use and however many S's or right angles it takes. So that was my whole theory of just having open space, like say in a garage where you don't have a ceiling, you just have that pitch to the top, right? And you built a
Well, that
room inside your garage and you have
that's a
intake.
tough one to figure there, fucking red pill, because you start using that flex duct right there, and so you'd practically have to do all your measurements and figuring out hard piping and those angles. Because once you started that flex tubing right there, you would.
Correct.
That's one thing I learned in my original room right there. How much air movement I was losing to those ribs right there. People don't realize as air goes in them ribs, man, they start going like this. Your airflow
Yeah.
goes like that, and you lose a lot of
So
air movement
the
through that shit right there.
the,
You can
the
You
gain
only
a
want
lot of
all that
movement
stuff
by
as
hard
wide
pipe.
as you can. You want those ripples as stretched out.
the only
You only need
ducting I
5
would
feet.
have
You don't need 20 feet of hose for sure.
The only ducting I would have is like a very short amount of ducting between the carbon filter and the exhaust fan leaving the room. And then if I needed to, I would build like a box around the air conditioning unit. And then there'd be ducting from that box to the intake fan. And that box obviously would have whatever baffles or louvers or whatever the fuck. So it could draw, like I said, outside air through that air conditioned box, and that would be, like I said, hard piped or ducted straight into the grow room enclosure. And then I would rig up a way to get that sensor from that air conditioning thing to go, to be lined inside the grow room. So it's not reading outside the grow room temperature, it's reading inside the grow room temperature and reacting to that. So you can climatize, if it's 72 degrees inside that grow room, you could drop it X amount by dilating on the air conditioning unit.
Kind of think, and I'm waiting for Smiley to jump on this one is, I think even though say I right now it's 617 parts per million my CO2. And I've got an enclosed right now. I don't even have the door open for the long room to take in that cooler Michigan air. But again, my thinking with even with a lower number like that, it's not like a stagnant, I guess, in my mind, CO2, to where that's just it in the room. It's being replenished. It's a constant,
Mhm.
replenished six,
Fresh air plus
614.
CO2.
But I
So
think
does that make up?
no, the idea you guys are thinking about it under parts per million, but the true idea is that you're simply elevating the percentage of the CO2 to oxygen concentration in the air. So air is a majority of nitrogen gas. That's like 70 some percent of it. Oxygen's like a 13%. CO2 is like a 0.04% or some shit. And all you're trying to do is elevate that to like a 0.06 or 0.1% in relative to oxygen, because it's the O2. Because what you're trying to accomplish there is in the first stage of photosynthesis is an enzyme that is the most plentiful protein on the planet, and it's called rubisco, and that is an abbreviation for a long fucking name, but at the end of it, the C and the O is carboxylase and oxidase, and it describes what that enzyme is doing. And basically what that means is it combined with CO2, which is what we know as normal photosynthesis, or it combined with oxygen, which will go through photorespiration. And it's a different type of process that uses sunlight, yes, but it's the balance between that oxygen and CO2 that's the important percentage there, and that's all we're trying to accomplish when we raise that. And it's all you're trying to do when you're moving air around the room too, because that surface where that air is contacting the surface of the leaf, when that stomata opens, it can deplete that CO2 in the range that it is, or the oxygen in the range. So having to refresh that air constantly or every minute, that's why that parameter is there, is because you're trying to refresh what is contacting the leaf itself. You know, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of a different perspective, but that's actually what's happening. So
in a sealed room, it's taking care of itself as long as you're supplementing CO2, right? That's the theory.
Because you're maintaining that percentage of CO2 to oxygen. Yes.
Right. Is it a 50-50? Ideally, if the plants are growing and photosynthesizing correctly?
What's that?
Does every bit of CO2 in the plant come out as oxygen? One atom per atom?
No, that's totally dependent on the law of minimums, I guess. So the idea that you'll be able to operate, because photosynthesis is a reaction, right? It's like a chemical reaction that light induces, kind of. And if one of the parts of that reaction isn't available, you're not going to be able to do that reaction. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to happen unless all the pieces are there to make it happen.
Like the clogged exhaust.
Right. So then it becomes the law of minimum. So if you have 12 ingredients that go into, just speaking hypothetically, if you have 12 ingredients going into making photosynthesis happen, and you need all 12 of those in the right proportion, whatever one is the lowest is going to limit how much you can make of that. So if it was a cake and you had 12 ingredients, even though you add just one drop of the vanilla extract, if you don't have any fucking vanilla extract to add that one drop to it, you didn't make the cake. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the way that's where photosynthesis can be limited by a lot of things too. You know?
Yeah. Is
the dynamic of it all? It's all in balance, and it's all fucking, you know what I'm saying? You can't pull one string on the web, so to speak, without affecting a different area of the spider's web. You know what I mean? It's like,
does that even affect it on a plant replicating DNA, like a plant cancer?
for what?
Failing to photosynthesize without those inputs, like you're saying? Does that affect a plant on a genetic?
Well, it would affect any of it, because you don't have all the ingredients to make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do you I don't know, do you know much about like internal combustion engines or not?
No.
I don't know. My brain always goes there because I was a mechanic, but it's similar.
I watch a lot of Jay Leno. That's about as close as I get to.
But combustion won't happen if you don't have the right amount of fuel to air ratio. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have the right amount of compression, you can't make it go bang. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of similar in my brain, I guess.
Well, I like that you say it, because it's like said. I think of it as it's basically the same thing. It's just one step further that you're taking it. But I always thought of it as, like I said, manufacturing plants and assembly lines and building products. But you look at think about it. I don't know where my mind went to this, probably because it's not too far from what we're talking about. A 5-gallon bucket. 5-gallon bucket just doesn't fall from the sky. There's a lot of fucking chemistry that goes into it. It's made in a fucking industrial chemistry plant, you know, from a whole bunch of other bullshit. And they come out with a 5-gallon bucket. Same thing as with anything you think of. So the plant is the same thing. It's taking the periodic table and it's making THC and terpenes with it.
Not really, because the periodic table is not involved as much as we think. And terpenes in them, it's just carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, you know, all put together in different ways. But you do raise a good point, because this is something I kind of mentioned the other day, and it's been something new to me, is the whole carbon skeletons. So like we always talk about photosynthesis and the sugar going around in the plant, but what's that sugar being done, right? It's getting transported to the areas of the plant that are the fastest growing. And then that energy is being used. So as that sugar and the energy is being used, it's leaving behind a carbon. You're taking away the out of the carbohydrate, you're taking away all the other parts, and you leave behind that. So the way that carbohydrate was formed, and after it's used, will leave behind a carbon skeleton that is actually used in forming cell walls and forming lignins, tannins, all the other things. Those are actually what separates, in a scientific definition, the difference between like a lignin and a tannin is the number of fucking carbons that are in it. One of them's got like 30 and one of them's got like 60 or some shit. You know what I mean? It's whatever numbers, but that's how they differentiate, is the number of carbons in there.
Well, I did mean the exact same thing you're saying. I just didn't use the sugar analogy.
Yeah. So, but that's all the redox stuff too, because those are reduction and oxidation reactions that happen at different spots to carry that energy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the amount of sugar, the amount of photosynthesizing, and this is, we're talking about, let's say cannabis plants that take 9 weeks to finish. The amount of nutrients that the plant took up, plus the amount of photosynthesizing it did for like, say, 6 weeks. And then you want to start feeding it just water, and then it takes care of itself, and it takes whatever nutrients is in those leaves, whatever sugars, and it's talking about like what you said, and it's building completely new molecules in that short time. That's what I mean, is all those materials or different elements are being turned into, not necessarily, I know there's only 3 or 4 elements that make up the whole structure, but I'm saying there's diversity in those compounds, everything from CBG to alpha pinene. That sugar turns into everything, all those things in between them in just those 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yep. And I do think so there's a lot to that too, as far as how much more the sugar is. So how much the plant can photosynthesize obviously dictates the rate of growth, right? But I'm just trying to connect that on a deeper level, because the amount of sugar or carbon that it can sequester is its rate of growth, because that's exactly the little carbon skeletons are what it fucking uses to put all the cells together that it needs to grow. You know what I'm saying?
That
Like
just makes me think of those plants that we were just talking about earlier, like that purple train wreck I had. It didn't put on carbon structure as in stems, leaves, and and everything like that. It didn't grow to a huge plant, but it did put in carbon skeletons in the form of terpenes and THC. It stayed a little short, runty, stout plant that grew rock hard, dense nuts. Took a long time to veg, had 0 veg time. So it wasn't putting on carbon in the form of making itself a big plant. It took all that effort and just putting in more and more trichomes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, depends. I mean, they can store sugar, starches, and different things too. So even though we're not seeing it visually growing, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say, man. Like, there's some plants that are going to be better under low light. Some plants are better under high light. some of that's dependent on number of stomata that are on per leaf and things like that too. So it's, I don't know,
I,
hard to say, I guess.
I think it's well, one thing I would definitely want to test just to make sure one thing's figured out before the next thing is if you could take the exact same cultivars and finish them at the exact same time, but one you give more nutrients to, or keep giving it nutrients a longer amount of time before you start the flush, and purposely finish it without a flush and make it more green or whatever, basically force it to finish without a fade, right? And
Yeah.
then see if that sugar metabolism is one thing, and then see if there's like the exact same varieties, if doing a fade actually increases like the resin content by like 1%. And then doing a whole nother thing and growing all those strains out, in population that do that, find like 20 strains where you find one phenotype that does that, and then finding that is the most appealing. Like now, not only does it make more terpenes and more THC, but it's the same. It's the ones that you want, that we want for consumption, and maybe not ones that are like a predatory defense. Maybe it does that, but it's not appealing at all, right? Opposed to one where it's super appealing. I don't know. That's a preference thing.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm torn on some of that. I guess the line of thinking on it, because it's still going to be dependent on the plant being able to use up the products of photosynthesis to even take up those nutrients. It costs the plant energy to even take them up and all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, I don't know, like that's where giving a plant too much nitrogen, you can actually slow the rate of photosynthesis, because it needs some energy to do photosynthesis, and if all of it's going to process nitrogen synthesis, it's not able to do the photosynthesis properly. You know what I mean? So you can actually slow the rate by having your nutrients at a too high of a level. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just thought there was something with that. Like I don't know, whatever. I guess there's, I don't know the exact terminology and what's correct, but some people call it, the nutrient mobility versus what I would just call its ability or its tendency based upon those enzymes to convert it, and that's my whole thing is like it's going to whether you want it to or not. So the more fade to me was always better, because the more sugar you're getting to convert at the end, the more resin content you would end up with. It's not like you're filling your buds up with maple syrup. It doesn't, the sugar from the leaf doesn't end up in sugar in the trichome head.
Yeah, it does, actually. Yep. That's why they fade. It's pulling nutrients out of the leaf, and it's
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's a whole molecular. What is the molecular structure of sugar?
Depends which one you're talking about.
I mean, like I said, on a periodic table, how many elements makes it up? Is it carbon and hydrogen?
Hydrogen and oxygen, but it just depends on the number.
Well, there's an entire rearrangement of that, molecule. It's not, it's not, I don't know. Never mind. I don't think you can extract sugar from dry sip. You get what I'm trying to say?
No, but they're made from sugar.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just different, the different number of carbons that it puts together, for sure. Yep. Which also costs the plant energy. So, it costs a lot of energy to put trichomes together, too. That's the other side of it. Like, it costs the plant a lot of energy. I don't know. I forgot what we were talking about now.
I think it originally started with CO2.
CO2, yeah. CO2, because that's exactly what photosynthesis purpose is. That's period.
I think it's
I mean,
kind of funny that you say it THC takes a lot of energy to produce. You know, like we have a graphic, well, you know, like mapped out system, like an engine, how everything's produced and like the pressure points of everything, and far as we know, the THC combustion or the THC part of things could go through a series of pulleys to where it's effortless for the plant. You know what I mean? As far as energy, it could be like tap and fucking THC just comes out the other side, you know, effortlessly. But you know what I mean, though? Basically on a ball bearing system, or it could be just a cruise part of the plant. You know what I mean? The outtake. But we don't. Can you say for sure that THC production takes a lot of work out of the plant, a lot of
well,
energy?
Absolutely, without a doubt, I can say for sure, 100%.
yeah,
Yes.
me too. Because I'm me. I think me and Smiley agree on a lot of what science does prove, and what a lot of where there's a lot of bullshit where it lies within. But yeah, as much as I do and don't believe in a lot of what science, you know, what science is saying, I do have, you know, I don't question at all what I'm talking about now, because I know that it's provable. The mechanisms of the plant, the enzymes it produces, and the synthases, and how it uptakes, like saying, light and CO2 and all the chain reactions that happen in between. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we can get all into detail what those compounds are called. Like there's plastids and organelles and vacuoles and phenols and all that. They're
So there's
that's
21 carbons in a THC molecule. It's C21H30O2. So every one of those carbon molecules required energy to go through the process of photosynthesis in order to transport through the plant and in order to be made into that carbon skeleton. So yeah, it does. It costs the plant quite a bit. I want to say it was like 8 ATP for every carbon that was sequestered, something like that. And I'm not sure the unit. I mean, ATP is kind of the general term there of it, but that's the energy function of it. So
what it's the
they do
plants.
know, though. That's the thing. You know?
It's just a crazy thing to think that the plant and everything that the ATP and everything that it knows, the plant figured out a way to turn energy from the sun in the form of light into how to make all of the fucking hormones and everything else that it needs to survive. That's the thing that it does. That's what I'm saying. Regardless of however much we want to put our energy into thinking, our own energy into thinking about how it's working 24/7. We want to think of Earth and how long it's been here, how short we've been here. We can just go away now, just disappear, right? And the plants still know how to take care of themselves, right? It's built into the plants. Going to be able to do that just fine. So we don't have to worry about that. Cultivating. We have to worry about environment and genetics and nutrients and stuff. You don't got to worry about photosynthesizing. It's the one thing that the plant can handle on its own. You know, we got photo period and we have automatic. It's about as detailed as it gets. That then it comes between arguments and between spectrums and efficiency and all that blibbity blobbity.
Oh yeah, if you don't have to worry about it, it'll grow itself. You're right. But if you're trying to optimize, that's all. I mean,
That's the easiest thing
the question was like, yeah, like elevating a CO2 or something isn't necessarily going to do you benefit unless you have enough light to really react that much. You know what I'm saying?
The very least, the plants need light. They need that. They don't need to be grown in super soil. They don't need to be grown in
They need
RDWC.
manganese. They need molybdenum.
Yeah, but I'm saying the preferential things. I'm saying don't matter. Like say, I don't like light. I'm a vampire. I don't want my weed plants to grow under lights. It's not going to work.
Right,
Right?
but
You need light.
I'm just
So-
saying it's the light doesn't matter if it can't convert it into something. That's all. It's gotta be
But as many ways as there is to skin a cat, that's mean we don't have to worry about how the plant skins the photosynthesis cat. Right.
I have to agree with Red Pill on this because I don't get that technical on it. I'm right there with it. You know, I I think you guys know that.
let's
shit.
just arm wrestle.
I'm trying to be open minded about taking it all in, all the processes and all that shit. But I'm right there with Red Pill. You know, I don't think that complete understanding has to be part of it. If it doesn't, you don't want it to be. And in my example, it's the same thing. Like I bet you 9 times out of 10, I'll put my assembly skills or just overall trade skills of putting something together versus the gentleman that engineered and wrote the whole process on how to put the fucking thing together. Cabinet, anything that has to be assembled. I would stand side by side with the gentleman who wrote that pamphlet, knows exactly why everything is shaped that way, why everything is fucking cut to that dimension. And I bet you I put that thing together an hour and a half quicker than he does. Even though he understands the workings of every component of that fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily always have to be understood. You just know how to have to put the fucker together. and and I think that goes right to go with the cannabis plant. You know what I mean? I understand there's a lot of intricate processes going on there, and yes, understanding them, you can tweak out your whatever you're doing with your cannabis plant, the fucking weight, quality. But I'm still right there with I'm throwing it together and still having fun with it. I'm still kind of taking in some of these super technical processes and fun. So I'm right there with Red Pill. It can be just grown, but I understand with you, Smiley, too. I mean, it can be if you wanted to take it to its max. You know what I mean? Quality, yields. You better understand the process, I guess. But it can be done both ways. That's a deep breath, Red Pill. Probably your deepest I've seen yet.
I'm not sure how to respond. Am I supposed to apologize? Like, I'm sorry?
No,
Did I
no,
not supposed to
not at all.
expect-
Not at all.
All I meant is that there's just way more things that people don't really understand as a preference. And I could just keep making more analogies and trying to simplify it, but there's not really a way of over smarting the plant. We're just trying to keep up with it. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep up with it too. Not trying to outsmart it either.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to figure it out. I don't know.
What's up over there, Bad Bunny?
Just listening. I mean, talking about molecules, atoms. That's over here. That's up there.
We didn't even get into electrons and circles around the atoms that get excited by the fucking sunlight.
Well, that's
Write a book or something.
They're already written. I'm just reading them. It's not my information.
But that's what I mean. Like how I take and leave a lot of the science so-called science about that shit. You know what I mean? So
Fine. I'm just, yeah, that's fine.
I
I just am an inquisitive person, so I want to know. That's
you know
all.
what?
I don't know.
I'll just be more. The longer conversations like this go on, it's just like, the more it feels like just opinionated, and like, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to go so far into a subject where it becomes idolatry. Someone's ideology behind something, and then like, we don't know. So what do the scientists know? And then that kind of thing. And what are the scientists trying to figure out? The plant knows because the plant is the plant. So we got to decode the plant to figure it out. And then we're not smart enough to do it. So we need scientists to figure it all out. So
So I'm gonna take the opportunity. I'm gonna show you what's behind me.
There you go. That's
It's
a nice tent right there.
we just set this up last week. It's our new veg tent, but we have sugar black rose, cotton candy kush, Sergeant Slaughter, vanilla tart, Herkel, sweet thing, unicorn poop, and the pineapple tie and sour strawberry.
You like that vanilla tart, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's our first time running that.
Are those seeds you ran, or are those cuts?
Those are all those. Well, the everything is from seed except for the unicorn poop and the sweet thing.
I heard I was fuck. Now I just lost the train. I was gonna ask you, what was the one you said, Ego?
The vanilla tart.
Yeah, that one, and there was one you said right before that too that I was wondering though.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah. Is it?
So the vanilla tart, Sergeant Slaughter, and Herco are from Subcool.
mhm.
That was my Father's Day present.
Oh yeah.
I was just looking at a few of those ones. It slips my mind, but Sergeant Slaughter was something. I was looking at the genetics and I'm like, damn, that sounds pretty good.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's Dane Commander and Jack Hare.
Yeah, it's definitely the Date Commander for sure. Whatever it was something where both parents of it sounded like something that I would like, across a.
And from what I've researched, the terps and flavors and everything, it's like a vanilla chai. And I forget what else. I got it all wrote down somewhere.
And then you said Herkel, right? Harlequin and Herkel.
Yeah, that's the Harlequin and
Herkel.
Herkel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, that was I had that. I grew out 3 of a 7-pack, or 3 out of a 10-pack. I still have 7 seeds. That.
How'd you like it?
I liked it, but I didn't do, because it's a CBD strain, and the purpose of me getting it was I originally wanted to pheno hunt it, and I thought I'd get lucky by finding a purple, either 1-to-1 or better THC to CBD. I didn't have space to do the whole pack, and then 3 seeds that I did start, I never even got tested. So I just smoked it, and didn't clone it, smoked it, didn't clone it, didn't test it. So.
Well, we got that one because Mrs. Bad Bunny has a bad back, so it's hard. It's kind of hard for her to do some things. Driving long distances is one. So with the CBD ratio, I thought maybe it would work. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so. I hope we get lucky. Like I said, I was hoping for 1-to-1 or better of something CBD, but like real Quirkle dominant.
Right. Yeah. And then the sugar black rose, That's PM and disease resistant. So we're gonna be running that outdoors. So hopefully we don't have any problems this year. We had some PM problems last year. We wanted to run the cotton candy kush outside, but that's a supposedly 10-week strain, and I don't want to take the chance outside.
Is it that hard to light up the hoop house?
Hoop house is gone.
No more hoop house?
No, the weather destroyed it. But we still got about a month before we do anything. So we might put another one back up. I'd like to, but it's all about time and, energy, labor. If we have the time, then we'll put one up.
Definitely a busy man, that's for sure.
I mean, it helped. It helped a lot. I loved it. I mean, it got really hot in there some days. It got up to what was it? I think the highest was 109. But the plants just loved it. We didn't have no issues with heat, nothing. Well, I mean, we had issues with heat, but I mean, the plants were just loving it.
So yeah, but I snuck out some plants outdoors today. That was pretty damn cool right there.
You did outdoors?
What's that?
Yeah, I slid a couple of them outdoors today.
Sun was nice.
Dude.
Actually. That's cool, Bunny. This little one hitter, is that a stash spot? That's the
It's
one.
a stash keychain.
Yeah.
It's a little keychain, little stash keychain for you to stick a joint in there.
Yeah.
Man, it did too. There were a couple of bigger girls that well, actually it was one girl, one guy, Twisted TK, that she was a fucking beast. And because where she was just kind of like tall and slender, you know what I mean? And I didn't feel like fucking she would have been a tough bend. She would have been a tough girl to fucking tabletop. So I threw her outside, and then I had the Fort Jefferson male. I've been sitting it's getting to be pretty big too, and I haven't taken cuts off him yet. And he's pretty big dude right now. So I actually threw him outdoors too. So the two of them, I'm kind of seeing how they'll fare. They're up kind of close to a warm wall, so I'm thinking they'll fare decent. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna be too cold.
You're gonna go out there tomorrow and they're gonna be fucking floom. Fuck you, it's cold out here. I'll go back inside.
I just looked at them when I went out there, fucking kind of took a piss out in the yard there. Fucking looked at the girls. They were freezing. They didn't look terrible, like they were all frosty or nothing. They looked. And then one thing I did notice about that though is the color of them, man. They seemed about 4 hours into it, not in like direct young light, but in just natural sunlight. They seemed to like be a different color green within a few hours of just being out in that sunlight. It seemed like they greened up just in that short time. I was like, is that even fucking that possible to green up that quick? Because it was a much darker green than the indoor, from when I took them out. I was like, oh shit, really?
So I have a question. Does anybody have any tips on breeding?
Yeah, you gotta take
You
pollen
want-
and you gotta have it contact the pistil on the female flower.
Yeah.
And when those two come together, that's when you get a seed. That's
Talk about an all-time trigger to get me to talk even more, right?
Is that how it works, Smiley?
I know. It's 4:45. I'm about to jump out.
Oh man, I could give tips on breeding, but
Yeah. Oh, that's
Well,
cool.
no, we wanted to start our first breeding project this year.
Hell yeah.
So
That's fun, man. What are you gonna use for your mail?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, sorry, you cut out there. What was it?
sorry, no, but
I want to use Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay. Sweet, man. Got one picked out already, boy?
No, not yet. They're still tiny behind me.
Okay.
They're regular seeds. The only regular seeds in the tent behind me are from Subcool. Everything else is all just clones.
There you go. I dig it, man. I don't know. That's the way it starts. You find a male, fucking figure out what girls you want to throw it to, and roll the dice. We don't want to get too technical about it. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, right.
cough, cough.
all right, guys. I do gotta check out though. I gotta.
You guys can get all technical about it all you want.
Now we can, no problem.
Oh, you guys can do that.
You guys are funny. Yeah, it's all good, man. Good to see you, Bad Bunny. I'm glad you jumped in, man. It's good to see you, Chris. I am jumping out though. Red Pill.
Have a good morning, man.
Yep.
You
Peace
go.
out.
Peace out.
Cheers. I do appreciate Smiley's passion to learn. In fact, a lot of times when I listen to you guys talk like that, I actually think, man, I wish I had the passion like that. Damn it, I wish I had the passion for it. But a lot of times, man, I've even said this before, man. Sometimes, man, I listen to that shit and it's just like watching golf to me,
Yeah.
man. I'm just like, oh, I can't do this. I gotta
For me,
get up and do something.
I hit a brick wall and I reach a point where I'm like, man, I figured out my way of doing things. Smiley's figured out a way of doing things. We can trade, and there's like a, you know what a Venn diagram is, if I'm getting two more. You know what a Venn diagram is? Two bubbles. They got a little crossover thing. Two crossover things. Two bubbles are completely different, but they got a crossover where certain things mix. That's kind of the thing that we got going on, or at least in the photosynthesis topic that got brought up, or it wasn't even supposed to be photosynthesis, it was supposed to be CO2. Anywho, but that's all it seems is like, and I don't want to say like, because we had the conversation about age already, but I feel like when I learned things, either I didn't learn everything that's still left to be learned, or it's just a completely different voice or perspective of things that I learned from. Right. And when you asked about breeding tips, same thing too. Like when we talk about breeding a lot and other people have different opinions on breeding, makes me think that there's, people that are on a completely different, whatever page than the way I got, taught about things, or how I started developing ideas and stuff like that. It's a very, there's a lot of information to go through. I mean, what you said about watching golf. So I got a dab ready. I just, yeah. I like having fun. I like being friendly. I like everyone being happy. I don't want it to get opinionated. That's all.
One of the crosses that we're looking forward to is Sergeant Slaughter and Sugar Black Rose.
What's your reason for settling on Sergeant Slaughter? You seem to be pretty adamant on that for the man.
I don't remember everything, I'm getting old, but from what I've read and researched, that's the one that we've come to like. But I guess it all depends on the structure too. You know, if we find a good male that, you know, I like the structure, then, you know, we'll use it. But you know, then again, if we find a different male that, you know, we like even better, then, you know, we won't even use that. I guess it just all depends on the structure and you know, different characteristics. You know, I don't know if that's the correct word, column checking. I don't want to just, you know, throw a bunch of shit together. You know, uh, I kind of want to try to do it the right way first time.
Well, I think that's the thing in question there. Is there a right first time in breeding? Or does
I
it
mean,
have to be worked out? You know what I'm saying?
well, yeah, no, I get
And
it.
think it's definitely going to be easier for you to discern which females you like, because you know that if you look at it in the aspect of think about it as like what you wouldn't want to lose. What's your favorite in the aspect of you like it so much you want to keep it, you don't want to lose it. There you go.
Right.
You solved the female that you want to find. Now the
Yeah.
male is a little bit harder because that's where the philosophy changes of, you know, is it a botany thing? Is it an intuition thing? Is it a scientific thing? Can you figure something out through, you know, genomics or analysis? Do you go off your best intuition based on stem rub and structure? Do you have other certain things that, you know, botany people have, you know, written in text? So that the male is a little bit harder because you're gonna have to basically either just say whatever, you're just going off what you want and an intuition thing, or you're gonna have to feel so strongly about a belief of why, you know, this is a certain reason why to pick this male and why it's going to make it better. So that's what I mean about the breeding tips. The only thing I would say about that is that's why I mentioned the female first. That's easier to discern, and a lot of the equation is already figured out there. And then I think about it as like from like capitalizing on that. The best way of capitalizing on that without going too crazy and having thousands of seeds to go through and do 10,000 seed germination runs to find the crazy outliers is your best luck would be to use your very last male that you can indicate. So say you're growing out all those plants, find a male, and then you find another male, you cut down that first male, and you leave it to the very last male that you have to pollinate, the one that would have slipped by that you weren't able to identify before you put them into flower. It took you 2 weeks in the flower to figure out you had one male left lingering there. And the only reason that that male is any better to breed with for what we want is because in nature, that male never would have gotten a chance to put its pollen on a female. It would have been outcompeted by all those males that were earlier to show sex and make their pollen. And then all that air around all those females is already full of those very first males to indicate sex. The air is already saturated with that pollen. So those females that are putting on its first set of pistils are already saturated with those seeds. The first seeds that those females bear are from the pollen that was in the air first. And the reason why the plants do that, or the males do that, is because it's constantly trying to acclimatize to its environment to have more and more successful generations. The male's doing, you know, that end of the carrying of the heavy lifting, right? So the reverse is true for what we're doing. You want to remove those males that would have been the very first to put seeds out, and you want to find those males that were further behind, that never had the chance to do that. And the only whatever evidence or thing to base this on is if this were the case, then you would be able to go out into nature and basically find GMO and Girl Scout cookies and OG Kush, because nature would have been doing the job to breed those strains. But it took, the hand of man to create those strains through the evolution of picking those genetics that were only available in those males that were the latest to indicate sex. Because out in nature, that would have never happened. Those males that had the potential to make OG Kush and that never got to put their pollen on a female. Those females were already saturated and completely bearing with earlier pollinated males.
And that's
earlier,
when you find something that's really unique.
right. And if going, because you are growing subcool strains, I will mention that those guidelines or those tips do come from subcool. So that's a lot of where I take, and a lot of where I take stuff that he said is a lot of other places where he got his information, like Robert Clark and Marijuana Botany and Brothers Grimm and the work they did. So the male selection is based on a lot of what Subcool talked about. And you basically you're starting 10 seeds, whatever, you get 5 females, 5 males. You want to find the very last male to show its sex. Get rid of those first 4 males that you found in veg. And that one that lingers on and you don't figure out it's male in the flower, that's the one you want to keep. And then that would be and then what females do you pollinate with that male? Your favorite ones.
Right.
So it comes back down to. So.
Okay.
And that's your first step, and then you can do more projects from there, because maybe that male gets to pollinate 3 different females, like Subcool would have. You'd throw a space dude male in there with orange velvet that would make Chili Bean, with a Apollo 13 that would make Space Queen, and with a purple Urkel that would make Corkle. Right? You got 3 new seed lines from that one male.
Yeah, that's what I planned on doing. Find the females that we like, and there's a 4x4 tent on the other side of us that we planned on using to breed with, and find our male, put it in there, and find the females that we like, and put them in there and let them have at it.
Nice. Be a fun little project. But guys, it is 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
I gotta hit the hay. I got things I gotta get up and do tomorrow. I appreciate y'all hanging out.
Thank you for the tips. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I was in a blabber mood anyway, so.
I don't think I gave you any. I sat here quiet the whole time.
You like when that happens, though, right?
Some nights. Tonight, I guess so. Either way, I appreciate you guys for popping out, man. For real.
Okay. Thank you, Eagle.
Have a good morning.
Yep.
You too, brother.
Thanks for having me, Eagle.
Thanks for popping in. I always appreciate it, bro. Same to you, Bad Bunny. Good luck, man. Keep me informed on that cup, man. Please.
Of course. We'll let you know. We'll let everybody know.
Use this as a porthole. You can stand and shout out on this thing anytime you want to let anybody know what's going on, man. Don't forget that, brother.
We appreciate that, Eagle.
Yep. Peace out, guys.
Have a good morning.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Well, that does it for 377.5 wormhole. It's time to run through the shout outs about as quickly as I can do them, which these days is quicker than, man, beginning almost. Getting them down. Getting them down. Sometimes I stutter through them. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but for the most part, I'm rocking them out these days. Telling you, keeping them in the same order. Trying to. Let's find something to shout out to. Drink of this here cranberry juice, not coffee, not cranberry juice, huh? 51 of you guys watching? Holy shit. Excuse me. Get down here to the bottom of the chat. Martial Artist 2012 might be Mr. Robert, Mr. Ring Fingers, motherfucking Thomas, Chad Westport. Again, brother, I am sorry I missed your show. I meant to catch that today. Show you some love, hang out in your chat. Totally fucked that up. My deepest apology to somebody that treats me very good and hangs out in my chat night after night. I'm sorry I didn't get to repay that favor, my friend. Try to get something going. Guitar one's always a good one. Automation is freedom. Cheers to you as well. Sir How, tons of respect for you. Been following along way before this thing even started. Fucking YouTube commercials. Concerned American. I've seen you a few times. I guess that means I need to put you on the shout outs list, right? You are now. Cheers to you, my friend. You're on the shout outs list now. Here we go. Sub cool, miss you, brother. Details Dank, Mama Lost 710, Scarecrow 420, Green Bum Thumb Bum, Christina MG89, Unplugged 705, Medical McGullicuddy, Rick T the Rebel, the 9G207, Fabian Salinas, Dave's not here, Tom Spook, Greg Walker, Mendo Dope will be here 420, T Dog will be as well, Dung Beetle, Red Eye Jedi, Rose, Mother Nature, Justin Conway, Duckweed, Run Boy 7426, Justin Gooder, Strongman, Okie Grover 75, Corey Treble, Michael Wallace, Mole Vision 420, Who's Your Cat Daddy Taco, Don Slug, Rick S. in the Bushes 827, Jane Siemens, Kevin Hahn, World's Last Hope, Pats Fan 420, Bio Minter, Dirt Road Dude, Kenneth Shiva, Jose Ramirez, Red Eye Rustler, Dab Goblin, Dr. Buzz Lightyear, Acetone, 710 Canuck, Candy Queen, Genetics, Stabby, Tanaze, Fundor, Dirtman Dan, Keith of Black Sales, Mr. Rosillas, Zim Premium Gardens, Rasta Bob, Rasta Just. Rasta Bob will be here at 420 as well at some point. So Root, Small Tubes, Tyler, Frosty Buds, Snore, Michigan Micro, Ouija Buds, Sub T Roy, Big Jar Grows, JC, Modern Genetics, SoCal Weedner, John, Last PPJ 15, Green County Grower, CJ Apple, Perfectly Imperfected, Dollar Tree Grows, T1 Productions, The Grower, DOA Grow Meds, Miss Nudie Grows, I Grew Some, Johnny Kennedy, Nutrient Shootouts, Nutty Nicky, Sillian Slammer, NNY, Pixel Monkey, St. Bernard's Observation Booth. Good night to you, my friend. Clover 420, High Spy, Aldridge 25, Madam T. Hopefully you are feeling well. Hopefully you are doing well. Stu Moo, Mo Grower, the Cannon Crate, Loki Grows, Sus, this guy, Burton, 79, Polish Hammer, Midwest Outlaws 31, Voodoo Altas, Fresno Nerds, Kelly Connection, Voodoo, or that is Wolverine Grown, Big Jar Grows, Jimmy One for Life, way back, Farmer D Block, MMP, Nations Creations, Amber Lalana, Psychedelic Warlock, Artist LD, Sir Sicky Rob, Big Day 420, Brent Wendell, Big Ed 1961, Manawane G3, The Green Click, J&K Triple G, Mr. Sprinkley, Brittany and Tyler Teasley, Hope Farms, Lisa G, John B2 Crazy for You, BGWG 420, Dr. Budswell, Purple Thumb OG. Hopefully you are doing well too, brother. I miss you, man. Arthro Sensimania, Arthro Just Fates 420, East Coast Grower 420, Sir How. Again, much respect to you. Trade alone, keep it real. Hagerton 420, Zeb Zeppelin, Audit Everywhere, BT, Grows, Bingus. Thank you for popping in. Green Puffin Man, Alex Quick Chef Lake, School of Crop, Cause I Love It, Green Mountain Grower, Southwest of Okie, Real 100, 212, Andy Man, Miranda Family Farms. Thank you for your donation. Almost all my seeds have popped. Sounds like almost all Smileys have too. Thank you so much for your donation. Page Farms, Me of All Flower, Ryan Henderson, Green 13, Nude Sailbot Wins, Kingdom Aquaponics, Michigan Native. Indra, hopefully you heal up fast. Hearts and prayers out to you, Indra. And hate to see that kind of shit. Mary Jane's Med Garden, Dreamer, 77 Double D, Bad Bunny Nutrients, Mr. Green Pots, Mr. Green Nugs from 619 to 664, Spaniard Kruger, Jones in the Grove, Papa G Grows, Raz Amy, Dro Grows, Cass, the Grow From Your Heart podcast, Lily Luna, the Green Med Flock, Jeremiah Moran, it's Stony Creek Lost Art, Mr. No One, LG 420, Giant Mike, Prometheus Soil, Jason Iso, and P. Wood, David Colby, Mason 662, Scruggy McScruggerton, The Goddess Grows, Kaylee, Chad and Brad Family Farms, Polly P, Kevin Jodry, Mike Honcho, Jay Huggins, UDA, Retree Hunter, Kush Cloud, Joshua Steensland, Organic Home Buds, Warren Nelson, Cam Wood, Maine Mystic, sorry. Joe Love Always, Kelly Stone, Texas OG, Chuck Norris, Sarge G, or yeah, Sarge G818, I bet you that is. Claire Fresno, Happy Guy, Dan the Indoor Man, Grummies, Homies, Hamilton, Grown, Clip Smoke, Keystone, Canna Flag, PA, Big High, YouTube commercial. There we go. Eugene Greenleaf, Ace Drew Hustle, Fred Dark Carlos, North Arizona, Beer Grow 420, No Sellout, Jesse White, Gosh Dang Yeti, Introvert Genetics, So J, Vixen, Robin, Mr. Killer 8 Mo, James, Buttercream, Seed Up from NorCal, the Pharmacy Seed Bank, Dreadhead, Smoky 616, Curtis Mahan, Matt Myron, Morte, Rick Heyman, Stephanie Doran, Tenna Seeds, Vicarious Kate, Mike Rubles, the Drew Bear 420, Maxi 751, Lawrence Gonzalez, Slody Get Up, Stu Moo, Papaco 719, Bake with Shake Baby, Old Smoke, PWC Grown Buds, Laura Wasp, Mr. Weedblunt, Old School Grower, Chad Westport, Honcho Grower, Florida Nugs, My Little Piece of Heaven, Pungent Sound Seeds, Goliath Grower, Richard T, Chrissy Wannabe, Mr. Soul, Food Spectrum Gone, God, Laurie Hanson, Real 2,000 Years of Tradition, Mr. D. Conley, Pimp Jam, McBodyface, Show Me Sasquatch, Fuck Google, and you. I'm going well. Canadian Restore, Poor, Dirk Farmer, Carl Wright, Zeffner, Humble Farms, Tannery Farms, Seldom Seen, Oak Park Gardens, Hell 9782, Skunky Palace, Martial Artist 2012, Microslave After, Daniel McDizzle, Medically Fit, KGB, Robert, Mr. Greenfingers, Motherfucker Thomas, Rancho Cosa Plenty, Monkey Balls, Andrew Champlin, Monkey, Bobby Lynn Mead, French Digger, Mr. Mac, Tonya Like Bologna, Mr. Bill S. Weed Peace, Tater Delicious, Minty, Country Roots, Huron Fire Genetics, Earth Creeper, Big Ray 420, Teeny Weenie 101, Buds and Hazard, Mr. Club 14, Bearded Bean Man Farm 616, Now Up North, Matt Screwman, Ruby 311, Mix Up, Kinder Grows, Evergreen, G's Friends, Tree, MMJ, Matt S. Save Dragonfly, B, Justin Meds, Travis Wells, Lucky Mike, Seattle Chronic Seeds, King Chronic, Titan from Blast Coast Seeds, Shango Gas, Basso for Life, John Smith, Tommy Trichomes, Boca King, Raz, Pop Little, Slow Roll, Spiky Pilots, Oscar Green Jr., Matt Silbert, Indo 11, Stephanie B. Shark Pulley 989, Bon Braun, Southern Guard, Stoner Nation 420, Joe Y. Bugs 1, 313, Grower, Painted Lady, Frank Booth, Jamid, Jamires, The Chat, Mr. Manny D, Dr. Beast, DGC, Jeff, Strider 911, Dutch Grows 420, Scallywag 420, Skillbo 1, Metagrower 1, Empire Breeding Co. for Broly, Lost Leaf, Liam Mass, Danny Danko, B Bear 7, Ali Noble, CK, Tom Trinidad, Looney Jester, Smoking Way, Small Town, Tim S. Mr. Lazy, Radford Groves, Rob, Automation is Freedom, Herbert Hazelton, Roar, Mr. Core, Double Tap, Mr. Green Thumb, 808 Rudy Prospects, became a bus driver, 8 in Life, Kenny 710, the Operation Road, T Ben, TM 42696, Rootnut 619, Dr. Scrambles, BB Moonrise, THFWJ, Bio Green, Self Grower 56, Hanky Stinky 420 OG, Ganja Nana, Your Mama, Georgia Joe, Ganja Wizard, Ganja Wizard, Roy Rodriguez, Bee Growing, Nature's Best Nuts, Killer Bee Grows, Husky Gardens, Nut Tree 420, Dr. Goose, Soil for Life, Bully 4 Life 420, Jeffro 420, Beavis 698, Dr. Franklin Booty, Goddamn, I made Ted's Test. Riffin Fat Boy, Jack Greenstock, 420, 420, Boom Farms, Charlie Farms, 420, Aldridge, 25, Smiley's Gardens, JD's, Miss D's Nugs, Smoking Grill, Frazier, Grokoski, Twisted Roots, Faded Farm, 420, Jeff Dorowski, Genetic Memory Farms, The Fall 420, Cameron, Mr. Bagsy, Jill Carter, Mystic Marks, Mystic Grower, Ginger Snaps, DTE, Girls A, Rick Wolf, DLP 2372, Ned Denver, Mike Denver, Sergeant 420, Ken Trooper, Fine Cat 420, Light Up Again, Tim, UKSIF 420, Wood Boy, Devon Shipwreck, Medical, MJ, Budsville, USA, Resurrection Prophet, Chris Martinez, Thinkman Dan, Thinkman 420, Red Set of Farms, Good Life, Joni Bell, Cheetah B, Most Hated Grower, Major John 420, The American One, W Digger 714, Rate, Skinny Cementics, Mountain Skies, Ready Hit That Hot Fire, Chris Mertz, Save Robbie, Sergeant Live, Pepper Fake Can, Finger Lakes Finest, Ridge Patch, Nose to Moon, Southern BT Grower, Choose Medical, Jerry Bear, Plus One Mushroom, Secret Cindy Pop News, My Little Tent, 2042, Spacewalker, Christian, Tree Monk, T. Barrington, Heart and Soul, Home Go, Mike B, T. Dwayne, East Coast Will, Heidi Day, Galactic Gardens, John Smith, Elliptis, My Natural Farm, Pacific Northwest, Rod Sky Paul, Lemon Hopeful, Trench, Radius, Future Life, Richard 420, Grant Man, Mary Brown, Sammy Sizzle, 9 Inch Colas, Chris Booth, DK Trades, Vision Crew, Creator Guru, D Kind Brew, Cannon Nation J, JD's, right? J Wire. Ah, fuck that up. Well, this song, they put like 3 verses in this one fucking song. There you go. Wob Wobby, Sean Binns, Rescue Ready, Roadside LLC, Notorious Snugs, Magna Seeds, Father and Son, Trimming Tutorials, Sub T Dank, Jose Martin, Perez, Doggo the Hut, 420, Buck, Chubaman, GR, 420, Community Videos, Detroit River Rat, Louis Garcia, Michael P, AJ, Everyday, Ted Bob 13, Maine, 420, Med Grower, Cookies, Coop, Jay Kendricks, In for the Grill, Backwoods All Good, Sally Mantell, Adams, Skankin, Chanel Simpson, One Smoke Away, Ganja, Roach, Kazoo, Aaron Burning Shrooms, Mr. Lincoln Stinkin, Aaron Studio, MG, the 420 Grotan, Paul Diella, John Fleming, Dinkovich, Vibro, Flower, Paul AP, Seldom Seen, Elevated, Lenny, Organic, Sunman, Chiba, Sunny, Jeff Pollock, Ricardo Sosa, Dan J, Earth Friendly Farming, Candy Forest Farmer, Fuck All That Be, The Misfit Grower, Jason Line 512, Snake Eyes, Northern 4466, Jason Greystone, Sony Baker, MD, Sony Creek, Russ Sonic, Fringe Dweller, Tarzan Superman, Old Man Hermit Ash, Freebird, Mode Grower, Manigar, Simple Man, Survival Time, Tim Blake, Goss Gross, Conic, Syncfred, Caballero, Harley Grover, Jen God, Jason Line 512, Steve Collins, Todd Kendricks, Property Maintenance, Sharpie, The Island, Hayes, Sue, Scuba, Steve Speaks, JR, Rain, Randy K, TCDR, Claire Killian, Wardrobe Farming, Randy Grande, Piff 1000, Ace Boog 32, 23, Wake Up, Captain Freedom Bee, Puffer Smiles, 15 Digits, Michigan, Ganja Moves, Fred G, Super Bob, Richard Forbes, Daniel Pimenta, B4 People, Nika T, John Reach, What About Bob, Prince Patty, Daniel Bergman, Green Puffin Man, B. Dungley, I know I go to that, James Chung, Sarge Grows 818. John Wayne Carolina Roots. Damn. Sister Golden Hair. Deanna L. Dancarino. KNF Gardens. Blank. 1030. Choose one. Only feet. Farmer James. Crypto Dome. Richard Land. HIP Grower. Bet Jabeen. Dan Marino. Chronic Wonder. Sunrise Road. Top floor tonight. Small Vision. 420. Can 2 Cannabis. Jess Fisher. My dog Nelly. Rooster. Alex Hardy. Hardy Gear. Benny Cropper. Daniel Gross Photo. Mitten Grow. Meds. Sunrise Rose. My baby girls. Studying at that. No Limit 916. Grumpy Toad. Alchemist and Canyon Mix. Soil Grown and Dixon. Ross Joe. Alex D. Dirty Ore Catfish. High Power. Thunder Dan. Propagation Station. John McDaniels. Lisa Marie. Sarge Groves. 818. Blaze Daily. Pride Pirate Purple. Pride Piper. Sorry. Perpetual. Eagle, Proud Warrior, Sales Smiles for You, Frank Usada, The Dank Duchess, Kino, Kelly, Maxwell, Captain 420, Frank Usada again, Stink Fat, What About Bob, Il Jusser, Pop Shrooms, John Gorski, John Doe, Dugan, Gangsta THC 4 THC 4 PTSD, there we go, T Barrington, Honcho Grove, Swat Cat, because Mr. Randy D, Canifari, 420 AB Normal, Frank Guerrero, Fair Feet, J. Brett, 74 CK, Brown Guy, 420, Peckaturn, 420, Burning Tree, Maine, E. A. Green, or Gray, Sun, Grow, 420, or let's try that again. Gray, Sun, Grow, 207, sorry about that. Hydro Daily, Hemp with Gigi, Jamie Ream, Supreme Great, Stony, Rockefeller, Cannabis, Caveman, Drew City, Synthetic, Hawaii Sustainable, Midnight Roots, Dead Cynic, Knuckles, Michael P, Polly, Be Quick, Be Nimble, Bud Kilowatt, Michael D, 4889, Disbanded Brothers, Lucilium, Matt Joseph, Grace, Medicine RX. Hopefully, I wrote that down right. Keith and Chief, Hydro Daily, and Concerned American. And last but not least, Weedus 207. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, hanging out on this episode of 377.5. You guys know the deal. If this is the end of your journey for the day, please get some rest. This is the beginning of your journey for the day. Please go out and have an amazing day. But most importantly, please try to do something nice for somebody. Random acts of kindness do save lives. We all need it at one point or another if we're willing to admit it or not. It's so easy. Open a door, a nice, genuine compliment, phone call for some free nugs, sesh with an old friend. So many good things that fucking mean a lot. But the key thing is they mean a lot. So try to take some time out and check in on somebody. It all adds up. Let me tell you, it all adds up. I'll see you tonight with, I believe, the Goddess Grows. Unless something happens, I'll see you tonight, 11:30. Love you guys. Have an amazing Sunday. So much great content out there. It's Weed Sunday. Have a good